Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 210. Back to a more comfortable recording schedule. It's Friday night, July 26th.
What did we do last week? I don't even remember.
Remember, it was super early because I was going to Montreal.
Was that the Montreal week?
It just feels so long ago.
Yeah.
So, I had a successful trip to Montreal. Your brother's team won silver.
It's only been a week. That's
in a very competitive tournament with a bunch of players. As it turns out, they do things differently over there. A year older than him and his team.
Stupid French.
So they still did really well. So this will be published tomorrow, July 27th, which is a totally insignificant day where nothing of consequence has ever happened, correct?
Correct.
Or it's either that or it's your birthday tomorrow.
It's the same difference, really.
17th birthday tomorrow. And
so that's because I was almost 13 when we started, so
yeah,
it's been like
4 years.
Which is weird.
Of doing this, because you were 12 when we started.
If you listened back then, I'm sorry. And,
that's interesting.
I sound better now.
Documenting your voice change.
If you are new here, pretend I didn't say that and it didn't exist.
Go back and listen to episode 1.
It did not happen. It was not a thing.
So you had some buddies over last night. You went to see what movie?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
And was it good?
I liked it. Hancock did not like it.
Really?
Because, he said that we all enjoyed it, but, a lot of fan service, and he said other than that, it wasn't great. I thought it was, pretty good. Not as good as the first two, but there was a lot of fan service,
There's timestamps, people, if you want to skip to anything. You can do that, because we ramble for a bit before we get into wrestling.
I will kind of go spoiler, just because...
Yeah, and there's probably spoilers about things, so...
So, yeah, I will
skip ahead if you don't want it.
You see the Blade movies?
I saw the first one.
He was in it.
But, a million years ago.
You ever see Jennifer Garner as Elektra?
No.
Or have you heard of that?
No.
Okay, well, she was in it, and
I know who Jennifer Garner is. That's not nothing.
That is not nothing.
For me.
It was them. It was Channing Tatum as Gambit, because he wanted to play them. I don't think he was ever in a movie.
Yeah.
And there was another old one. I think it was just Laura from Logan, which you haven't watched Logan.
No.
I think you'd like Logan. Logan's amazing. But they were in there, and then there was a bunch of different Deadpools.
Nice.
Obviously, because, multiverse and stuff, and then new Wolverine, but it's still Hugh Jackman.
Nice.
Which is good, because, if whenever they do a new Wolverine, it's not going to work, because it's not Hugh Jackman.
Right.
It's one of those...
He's irreplaceable.
Yeah, but I liked it. The opening credits, in the opening sequence, might be one of my favorites of all time. It was long story short, in Logan, that version of Wolverine dies, and so Deadpool goes to get him, but he doesn't know he's dead, so he digs up the corpse and then fights a bunch of dudes using his skeleton as a weapon.
Nice.
And he does that fighting to and dancing to Bye Bye Bye.
Nice.
By NSYNC. And if you don't like that song, I don't like boy bands, but if you don't like that song, I will fight you.
I don't like that song.
It is amazing. Okay, it's perfect, and I love it. And it was an amazing opening.
Yeah, so you had...
You did the little dance and everything.
3 buddies stay over here, you walked there, you swam, you did whatever you did.
Yeah, walk was actually nice, because it was, perfect, cool
not that far.
Summer night weather.
Yeah, it was.
And I just had a hoodie and, my pants that have air holes.
And then tomorrow, your actual birthday, we're gone for basketball until...
I will do nothing.
We'll be back in the late afternoon, and then people are coming over for dinner and a swim and whatever, so that should be fun.
And, I guess I finally, Hangman's theme is up on iTunes, so that was nice. I listening to that. Vincent Padula, man, the guy who makes he's done all Hangman's music, just magnificent stuff. And also, might I add on, I think it was Tuesday or something. I think it was Tuesday or Monday. I set a reminder, I remember, but it's been what was it, 3 years since the Hangman Dark Order tag match. Remember that? Match.
Yeah.
My favorite entrance. That match is special. So that was weird. And then little thing for me is Pete Dunne has a new theme, but it's not a new theme. Remember, I was telling you about this.
Yes.
Because they released a new theme, the one in 2021 that you remember his original theme, right? Because I know you liked it.
I did.
They changed it in 2021, and it was called Menace to Myself. He's been using that theme until he became Butch. Then he used it when he came back, but apparently not. They released the same theme under a new name, but they slightly changed it. I was telling you the bass sounds more boosted, and some of the sounds are a higher pitch or whatever. It's very weird.
Look at you with the audio engineer ears now.
That's why I think you'd find it interesting. Yeah. If I could get you to notice the differences, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I could, but anyways, I find that very interesting. I've been listening to that all week. It does sound better, so I'll take the new one.
Good.
And Pete Dunne's been doing things, so we're living good over here.
Kinda, yeah, doing things. We'll talk about him. I mentioned
he's doing more things
Raw
this week.
Yeah, he did do more things. So. It's true. We're going to talk about the usual stuff. I may touch on Slammiversary because I watched it. I tried to go to it because I was
That is true.
I was
I feel
in
like
Montreal.
I feel like you mentioned. Did you mention that? I don't know.
In Montreal with nothing to do on the Saturday night. First pay-per-view and whatever that's sold out. Couldn't find any tickets even on
Secondhand?
aftermarket, whatever,
Really?
resellers. So did not go, but watched the show and quite enjoyed it. So we'll talk about that quickly. We'll get into Dynamite, NXT, Raw. I watched TNA the weekly. I can mention a couple things from that.
The one like from this week or the one before?
The one this
Slammiversary?
week.
Okay.
The one following Slammiversary. You said we've got a fairly significant
It is
figuring
San
it out
Diego
segment.
Comic-Con week.
So I'd like to get started because I got to get up at like 7:30 tomorrow and be in Toronto for 9. So that being said, we'll shift gears into talking about wrestling. It's our first segment every week. It's wrestling news and rumors. All right, ratings this week. I didn't have the ratings last week because it was too early.
There was a lot of
I think I got
competition.
NXT. I didn't go back for AEW's. But this week's ratings, anyways. NXT averaged 633,000 viewers, up 3.8, to 0.19 in the key demo, down 5%. They had no major sports competition, and this was the last NXT episode before it moves to Sci-Fi for 2 weeks because of...
Sport ball.
Which one?
The circular ball.
Kind of a trick question.
It's not a ball.
Olympics.
That's not. That's like
You would have never got. You would have never
all
got
the things.
That's all the sports. Yep. And
All the
Dynamite,
balls.
786,000 viewers, down 1.1%, earned a 0.26 in the key demographic, down 3.7. They went head to head with a major political announcement in the United States, which was you're up on sports and politics.
No more bullets.
Two of your favorite things. Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. So they were up against that, which was pretty significant news down there.
That's so sad. I care so much.
I have a few news items. What do you have for us? I think I have 4.
I started one
Unless
with
you
that
steal some.
one that's allegedly notable, but that means nothing to me.
What's that?
Australian wrestler Delta signs with WWE, female wrestler.
Never heard of.
Never heard of her in my life.
Also never heard of Vakur, loved her. So
They're making plays for the women's division because they
Good.
took Julia Vacker and now this person.
yeah,
As long as she doesn't suck major butt.
well, I don't see why she would.
That's true. I mean, she's she's
She's
allegedly
notable enough for them to
so
sign. Then.
we also had no idea who Walter was.
True.
So
Speaking
just to set the precedent.
Speaking of signings, good old Meltzer confirms that Buddy Matthews has signed a new contract with AEW, describing it as very lucrative. And apparently,
That's surprising for me or for him, but maybe I'm overthinking it.
so apparently he tried to give notice at one point, but AEW wasn't going to release anyone and let them go to WWE. And then he got offered a really good contract and took it. So kind
That's
of
why
wanted
people
out.
thought he was.
Whether he was leveraging that or not, he wanted out, and then
I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to join up with Ripley. Obviously, now that they're.
makes sense. And I mean, he's not used well in AEW, but we were talking about it off air. I don't have much confidence he'd be used better in WWE. So,
I don't think.
but his wife is a made star now. So
Yeah, which might benefit him or might not do anything. I don't think he's been treated horrible in AEW because I think sometimes in WWE his booking was not good.
no,
But I also think AEW has dropped the ball with House of Black.
they have a few times. They picked it up and dribbled it a few times.
A time or two, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Keeping with AEW, I guess. Sammy Guevara and Ty Melo are reportedly training for an in-ring return. Guevara's been out since he injured Jeff Hardy's nose, and I cried so much. And
Melo
Ty
since
Melo
Bebe?
had Bebe.
Correct.
So
Interesting.
That's neat. I like Sammy Guevara, so that's
I haven't
cool.
missed either of them.
I
frankly.
haven't. I like him, but I haven't missed him.
Right.
Mostly because I fear that there is a ready-made spot on the roster for him, one that is most unwelcome.
Oh, in Learning Tree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I would not bat an eye if they did that because, literally they had him just ditch the Don Calcium, which I thought was a good spot for him to join Jericho again for
Yeah.
nothing. Because, I think probably because Omega got injured. But,
He's forever loyal to Jericho.
it's going to happen. I would almost bet my life on it.
It might. It wouldn't shock me either.
Not at all.
Did you see who's taken time off from AEW?
Mox.
Correct. And we would say that's deserved because we've always said,
I think I'm at the point where anytime he takes time off, I'm just like, yeah, you deserve it.
he hasn't wrestled since Forbidden Door, and apparently reports are hadn't been backstage or anything, so gone. Don't know for how long, but hope he enjoys his time off because he's a
he deserves
workhorse
some
for them.
breaks. Yeah, I think just all the work he's done is just
Yeah.
he just deserves.
He's the backbone
kinda
of that
come
company. in a lot of ways,
and
right?
I'm glad they're keeping him for however long. Cause
Me too.
It's funny because I actually just passed a list on What Culture when I was looking for news. It's 10 wrestlers who are in, quote, wrong company, and the thumbnail is the WWE logo and Moxley. I disagree wholeheartedly. As someone who loved Dean Ambrose, I think
maybe
Moxley
now that we're in the Invincible era in WWE, as we call it,
That's true.
It might be different.
And maybe if once they're going to Netflix too, he could be more Moxley. But I think he's great where he is.
Yep, me too.
More contract stuff, I guess. Bobby Lashley and MVP, their contracts are up soon. They are expected to leave
and go to TNA because I don't.
He
doesn't fit.
I like Lashley, but he does not fit AEW.
I liked Lashley. I'm not sure current Lashley's anything.
Current Lashley, I don't really care. I liked him in, like, Hurt Business, and I liked him when they actually tried with Lashley, but
Hurt Business was cool, and they left money on the table.
They fumbled it so hard. Because I
agree.
I think Cedric's great. Everyone loves Shelty.
Cedric did not look great this week on NXT, but
he's been great in the past, I guess. But
no, he's awesome. But he looks a lot bigger now.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe not quite as quick as he used to be.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I've seen clips like resurface of that match with Ibushi from the CWC.
He's crazy. Awesome.
But anyways, yeah, they're expected to leave. I think TNA is the perfect spot.
Me too.
Because Lashley's got great name value still. Both of them do, actually. But
I liked his heel run there.
Yeah, he had a good heel run there already. So he's got history there, and like his style just fits them better. And he would still be big there. In AEW, I don't see it.
And if MVP goes with him as like the mouthpiece again, that works really well. So,
and I don't expect it to be like an Okada thing where I'm like gonna I just don't really need him in AEW, especially because of how big the roster is already. Like, even if it's someone I really like,
super bloated roster,
you run the risk of because I think Ricochet would be really cool in AEW, but he's gonna get lost in the shuffle. He should be facing Bailey, honestly, in Speedball and
I'm like, Bailey. What would she be doing? Mike Bailey, got it.
Speedball.
The Observer newsletter is reporting that WWE has given up on somebody. Care to guess who?
Karrion Kross.
Nope. But
okay.
You would definitely say they have every reason to do so.
Okay. Odyssey Jones.
No.
Bigger? Like
stature-wise, yes.
Like Omos?
Yes.
Nice.
And he responded something social media didn't check, but
I agree. I don't think it was ever really worth trying because
he's huge. He is a spectacle, but
it wears off after the second match.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I don't think. Well, I feel like they kind of given up a while ago because like I remember he was gone for a while. He popped up in the Slim Jim Battle Royal at SummerSlam, disappeared, popped up in the Rumble, and then he's gone again. Yeah. So I would argue they've given up already.
And makes sense. He did not do anything.
He was never really
other than
good.
Look big.
Even like the tag run with AJ never really helped him. He had a feud with Lashley that was
Yeah.
He even got the MVP affiliation and did nothing.
No,
so
didn't help him at all.
Really, nothing there.
So see ya, Omos, maybe.
That is totally fine. Last one I have is that it's been going around, but the Motor City Machine Guns are expected to sign with WWE.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So I hemmed and hawed because you had your friends over last night about going down to Demand Lucha because they were both in a singles match.
I saw Trent Seven had a surprise match there.
So I didn't go, obviously, but I'm going to check out Demand Lucha at some point. I hear good things. Last thing I have is that Luchasaurus suffered an arm injury, partially... potentially.
Oh, you got to vacate the titles then. Jay White's you got to vacate the titles.
A partial tear, but he's expected to work through it.
Nope, you got to vacate the titles.
And they don't wrestle that much, so. And yeah, going back to that, Ghost Jam supported you in that, right?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
He's got your back.
He's got my. He gave examples that I should have thought of, but like
MJF
should've. Not only defended the ROH belts by himself, but also with a replacement partner.
Yes,
and then
Samoa Joe, right?
And they were just allowed to do that,
right?
So. I still argue the Arlington screw job from last week.
New
Bang
leadership
Bang Gang
now.
were screwed.
New leadership, okay?
Okay, Bang Bang Gang were
screwed. It's not Tony Khan anymore. It's the Elite.
Screwed.
Okay?
This is ridiculous.
Anyways, that is all I also have for news. So,
outrageous.
We'll move into a really quick, almost turbo review of the show I tried to go to but couldn't, and that is TNA Slammiversary.
Get it again or no?
All right, so we just lost all of your audio track for TNA Slammiversary. So yeah, really quick, we'll redo it. So I'm gonna go real fast. It was a lot better the first time. Opening match was nothing you need to see. It was a low point on the show. was Matt Hardy beating Fandango in under 5 minutes with a twist of fate off of the second rope.
Right. And remember that one, no
You
rating.
said it didn't get a rating because it was under 5 minutes.
I imagine they don't rate a lot of NXT
I would
matches
still take the under pretty much on that. Then it was new tag team champions as we had ABC defeat The System, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers in what I thought was a pretty entertaining tag team match. Lots of interference from Alicia, from other people. And again, I mentioned it before, there was one where Alicia got in the ring and got in between people to stop offense and didn't get sent away from ringside. And later in the show, I forget who it was, did much less and got banned. So a little bit of issues there. Perhaps? But a very fun tag team match that led to Alicia, accidentally taking an art of finesse. ABC hit the 1-2 sweet on Myers, their new tag team champions.
What's the 1-2 sweet?
It's where he hits
the combo?
Yeah,
okay.
the whatever into the fold. Art of finesse and the fold. And what was that match rating, sorry?
That one was 7.29.
And yes, your audio track is still running. I would say that was pretty accurate match rating. I would say that's pretty fair. Then we had Mike Santana, Jake something. Thought it started off pretty slow. By the end, I quite enjoyed it. There was a huge top rope avalanche German suplex from Santana near the end of this, and it ended up with a stiff clothesline, which is the spin the block, I guess.
I thought for the win. Sorry, I was thinking the rolling buck 50 or whatever.
The rolling buck 50 he hit earlier on in that.
That's the cutter thing, yeah.
So what was the rating for that one?
6.52.
6.5. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fair. That's 3 1/4 from me, which is about what that would get. Then we had the Rascals in a sort of a trios match, I guess, for lack of a better term. Trey Miguel, Wentz, and Lee taking on No Quarter Catch Crew, which is Charlie Dempsey, Tavion Heights, and Miles Bourne coming over from NXT. I was saying before, I thought Tavion Heights looked really good in this, and if you didn't watch NXT and these guys came over, you wouldn't think they were just rookies.
I guess is the point of them sending the fresh ones there, because the joke is kind of TNA sending their some stars to NXT, and then NXT's kind of sending back some newbies like that, and Paxley and Izzy Dame and something. But I guess if they end up looking good like that, that's kind of a benefit.
Right, I would agree. It looks like I don't have video for this segment now, so I'll go back to video after.
We're all over the place.
We're all over. So sorry if you're watching on YouTube. Video will be back. I'll put a note in there for it. Actually, I might be able to put the old one in. Anyways, worry about that later. Yeah, I thought this match was quite enjoyable. The Rascals end up taking out Tavion Heights with what I think it's a combo thing they call the Soup Kitchen, and then the Hot Fire Flame for the win. What was the rating on that one?
Where is it? 7.45. So I guess 7. No, 1 3/4.
7.5. 7.45. You said. Yeah. So that's pretty accurate. I would say that's a fair rating for that match. AJ Francis lost both of his titles, which you ran down nicely in the previous version of this, where that belt came from. It was a Montreal street fight. PCO took a ton of punishment, including just getting abused with a kendo stick with a trash can on his head.
And the worst chair spot I've ever seen.
He took a crazy...
the worst, and it looked horrible.
Razor's edge onto 2 chairs set up back to back.
The way he landed off that, it's so gross.
Looked crazy.
Especially how old he is, it's just gross.
You had Sami Callihan came in, get taken out by Swan. Rhino comes out and gores Swan. And then PCO choke slams Francis onto chairs, and PCO salt onto the chairs. And it's over, new champion. And add to PCO's joy, Steph DeLander comes out and proposes marriage. And he says yes. And I feel like that's going to be stuff that I can't stand. Next, we get the Knockouts match.
Which was the 6.48.
Oh, 6.4. Yeah, that seems fair-ish. It over-delivered for me. 6.4? Yeah, I would say that's fair. We had Jordan Grace retaining Ash by Elegance. I said, again, before already, we did this once, that Ash looked better than I thought she did. Hits a bunch of moves. All the little things, she still looks really bad. But she can actually hit some stuff. She hit a nice destroyer in this, among other things. So she went for rarefied air. Grace got her knees up, spinning neck breaker, and a sliced bread, but then Grace hit a power bomb and the Juggernaut driver. The story was kind of Ash by Elegance was avoiding the Juggernaut driver and countering it as much as she could, but ended up losing. Over-delivered, didn't think it was bad. Rating on Cage Match?
That one was 5.64.
Yeah, I was over on that. I thought that was better than that a little bit. X Division Championship match was awesome, other than I didn't enjoy the finish. It was Bayley taking on Mustafa Ali with Campaign Singh and all the Secret Service. Turned out Trent Seven was one of the Secret Service because obviously Ali's trying to cheat and get a lot of people involved. Awesome match. And then you had, didn't love the finish. Ali calls to the back for another referee. So it's Earl Hebner coming out. Ali puts in the sharpshooter. Hebner teases screwing over Mike Bailey, but he kind of hems and haws and looks awful trying to act. Decides he won't. Bailey counters, puts Ali in the sharpshooter. Ali clearly taps. So Bailey is the new X Division champion. Excellent match. A little bit marred by the finish, but I think you said it got a, 8.5 something?
8.5, yeah.
Which I think is pretty reasonable match. That's like a 4.25 from me. Main event was the 6-person elimination match. Moose, Alexander, Kazarian, Nemeth, Hendry, Macklin. Big things to come out of it were Hendry eliminated Moose partway through.
Yep.
So we knew we were getting a new champion. You had Alexander turn heel in the middle of this by low-blowing everybody's favorite babyface right now in Joe Hendry. And then you had, at the end, Nick Nemeth ended up pinning Kaz, hitting his, what's it called? What's Ziggler's finisher called?
Oh, the Danger Zone?
Danger Zone, right, for the win. Good match, not amazing, not as good as the X Division match that preceded it, but still a very good main event, I thought. What did you have for that?
That one was 7.9 flat.
7.9 I think is a little bit high for me. I'd go a little bit below that. But a good match, a good show. Kind of wish I had been able to get tickets to it. But that's my second time talking about it. I'm going to stop so we can move on and talk about this past Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, let's try this again. Talk about Dynamite that we just finished. We're back. Video form, I think, is back on.
Blood and Guts this time.
It is Blood and Guts this time.
It is. We start with Ospreay, Marvez trying to get an interview with Ospreay in the parking lot. Ospreay will speak when he gets to the arena, but his tires have been slashed, or the air's been let out, or something like that.
Michael Scott got to him.
Scott asked, and then Ospreay will never revenge him.
You will never revenge him.
Ospreay gets Marvez's keys. They drive off to the arena, so I guess like it's a road trip movie. This was fine. Adds more to heel MJF for their feud, but it was a really short bit.
I assumed it would play out during the show, but it didn't really, other than I guess like you were saying. It just kind of
like paid off immediately.
He got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sure.
Then we get a recap of last week's near hour-long match, or 30 seconds.
So close.
30 seconds if you ask other people.
Right. Depends on perspective.
Yeah. So then we hear from MJF. He brags about how he beat Ospreay without breaking a sweat. It was the easiest match of his life. He talked about Ospreay's grandma dying while saying Will could dig a grave next to her, and he said he should dig it far away because the fat skank needed the space, which was a crazy statement. And he's told Will to face him like a man, but obviously he's not there yet. MJF spoke about the international title being held by champions who were like workhorses, and he didn't like that because it was held by poor like fans, and he was talking about how like they're all people that fans liked and whatnot. He said he deserved a title for his superior intellect, bank account, and upbringing. He said that this title, like Daniel Garcia, Ospreay, and the fans, is garbage, and he did throw it in the garbage.
He did.
Then he unveils a new title, which is under a cover on a table, and it's the AEW American Championship, which I would call the All-American Championship because it sounds better.
Didn't he make it a lesser belt from Intercontinental?
Yes, which I talked about, but I think in his view it's obviously the opposite. So it's because
he's leaning into like full America mode, it seems. Yeah.
So I think it works for him. I agree that that's what he did, but like I think for MJF, self-indulgent, whatever, that makes sense. Obviously,
he's a patriot.
Why would he want to focus on UK and Mexico, or something like that?
I guess.
So it's interesting.
Going 80s xenophobia angle?
Yeah, I guess so. He talked about how this title doesn't represent places like Nashville, which I guess is where they are. It represents places like Long Island, New York, obviously, because that's where he's from. He called himself an American hero and said, "Thank me later." Then the giant American flag hung above, but it was instead of the stars.
That was a nice touch.
His face.
That's funny.
It's a bunch of little faces of MJF, so that was pretty funny. Then Ospreay showed up and MJF ran off. Ospreay grabbed the mic and said MJF knows he couldn't beat Will in the last minute. He reached in his trunks, past his tiny little, and pulled out the diamond ring.
I don't know. It was censored in Canada.
That's true.
I don't know about anywhere else.
He punched Will with the ring, obviously. Will said he's here with the best news for him. He talked to TK and Christopher Daniels, and he got his rematch at All In. So that's swell.
Yeah. First of all, super happy to have MJF back at full heel.
Much more enjoyable for sure.
For sure, and his interpretation of the match with Ospreay was pretty amusing.
It's pretty funny.
Easiest match of his
30
life.
seconds, didn't break a sweat.
Right. Attack on dead grandmothers. Right. Kind of stealing a note from Christian a little bit there.
Yeah, took a bit of Christian's thunder there.
Throwing titles in the trash. Like these are all classic things. He did a lot to remind everybody that this is, and to their credit, the crowd was reacting as they should. Right. They weren't cheering him. I didn't find he was getting booed. So I thought strong work from both of them here. We're getting the rematch we kind of expected for All In, but
although I'm expecting things to change.
Are they setting themselves up to fail? How do they, where do you go from here?
I guess so.
Stipulation of some kind?
I'm saying I don't think that this match is staying as is.
What do you think's happening?
Pac still has his title shot.
So make it three-way?
I'm saying it's going four-way.
One of those fun
We were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's a four-way. I think at the very least it should be a three-way because Pac shouldn't be waiting on his title shot because he's been talking about that Wembley moment and he literally has a title shot waiting,
and they did, and it kind of seems strange the match he had tonight as well on Dynamite, which might further your theory where it's like to keep him visible and whatever.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and I agree because then if the plan is, because obviously we know from Forbidden Door that the plan was never Swerve Ospreay at All In, right? Because that's what everyone thought. So we know Ospreay and Swerve had planned opponents otherwise, which is clearly Danielson and MJF or whatever.
Yep.
I think I agree. It would be stupid to shoot yourselves in the foot and give away an hour-long match, which was great. But if you're planning a match for your biggest show of the year, why would you do it an hour-long on TV first?
Don't think you can go straight rematch. I think you're right.
So I think it has to, at the very least, involve Pac, if not Pac and Garcia. And then you have Ospreay or Pac win for a hometown.
Yeah.
Because I don't think MJF needs this belt. I think Pac winning it would be awesome, and if Ospreay had it back, that's fine too. I don't think Garcia needs it either. I would argue you have MJF lose it to one of those two, and you spin off to the Garcia MJF feud that they want so badly. You have Garcia get a win against MJF at Grand Slam,
and they have been working really hard to tell us, not so much show us, how great Garcia is. So
you have Garcia beat MJF at either All Out because it'll be soon after, or Grand Slam because that would be after. All Out, I believe. So anyways, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a straight rematch, but on the segment, I thought it was a good way to start the show. Big ol' heel MJF is always quality, and again, we're glad we're back to the timeline's being reset, or what I mean.
I agree.
The weird babyface MJF is gone, which it wasn't bad, but it's just not the same.
It was great for a while, and then it sort of wore thin for me. So this is much better.
Agreed. The easy win shtick was pretty amusing, like you said. I enjoy just his flat out denial of any struggle or wrongdoing.
Yes.
You should. When Ospreay was rambling about it, he was like, "I didn't cheat, didn't do anything." Yeah, so that was funny. Mixed feelings on the American title. I think looks wise, I think it's good because it's literally just an altered version of the international title with the American flag replacing the multiple flags in the middle, the American flag strap, and then MJF. MJF flexing on the far side plates, and the closer side plates have one of them says better than the UK and Will knows it, and then the other one I think the only country that matters or something like that. So it's a belt
just to troll Ospreay basically.
Yeah. And kind of Ospreay's belt was made more sense in Japan because he was it's never defended in the US, why would I carry a US belt? That was Ospreay's thing with the IWGP belt, but anyways. Yeah, so it's got MJF logos where the AEW logos would normally be. Right. So I don't think it's going to last. So I think its temporary existence is funny. I think it works for MJF's heel character, and I really like it because it's kind of like how he did with the Burberry belt. I would have preferred him just do a Burberry international title, just because then it's that's kind of his thing, and then also. We don't have to rename the belt again.
I almost feel like this Super Patriot America thing is part of his new thing, though. I think that's going to be...
for now, at least, just because of this international feud. I don't think it'll be permanent, but
it might be what you like Jericho when he comes back with a little bit of a different whatever.
Maybe, yeah. That I could see that, yeah. But I don't think this name will stick because it's the third time... It's the second time the name's changed. It's the third different name.
Right.
I don't think this one's sticking around because the international title is clearly they just wanted to change the name of the belt. And it's because the belt looks the same, right? So I don't think this is going to stick around. So that's fine. And like you were saying, I can't imagine you swap an international title for one of a singular nation.
No.
I think it's only an upgrade for MJF.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, I imagine Ospreay gets a hometown win if the match stays as is, but I think Pac is still a factor since he earned a shot a couple weeks back. I also think Garcia could be a factor as well because he's just been laying dormant.
They've been telling us how amazing he is.
They also
all the main eventers respect Garcia for some reason.
Also, since then they haven't mentioned him at all though since he's been taken out. So that to me is suspicious.
Yeah,
that he's just like been completely just nothing. So I would not be surprised if this match changes and just to make it bigger. And I'm waiting for that. Then we get the Blood and Guts coin toss. The Elite had beaten down Christopher Daniels, and so Bryce Remsburg, the referee, comes in, and so they're doing the coin toss. Matt has a coin that's AEW and Elite on opposite sides. The coin lands in their favor. The Elite get the advantage. Nick asks about the whereabouts of Hangman. Matt says they have a deal. He'll be here. And the coin, I think, was revealed to be double-sided, right? I think it was.
I don't know if it was double-sided or if, like, they win either way. I don't know.
It was something like that, yeah. It was solid, a short bit. Of course, the Elite cheat to get ahead, which makes sense. And these matches always work better with the heel advantage, so it makes sense.
That's what I said,
and
too.
I imagine Hangman's waiting just to get a swerve, so that's fine.
And it's one of those things like the ref knows it's rigged, but what can he do? Those are the bosses.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, I just said...
Honestly, they could have just forgone the coin toss if they wanted to.
Same as you. This was a quick way to get that heel advantage, which works way better in these types of matches. So
I don't remember what match it was. It might have been the Bloodline Brawling Brutes War Games, but there was one of the War Games or the female. No, wasn't the female one the other year? Anyways, there was the one War Games where the babyface had the advantage. It's just weird.
It's just weird because they like true baby faces shouldn't want the numbers advantage, right? Because that's not. I mean, exactly they should want fair.
It to smarter, but like. They shouldn't. It's just weird when they're like dominating like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just weird. But anyways, this was solid. Then we go to Chris Jericho versus Minoru Suzuki for the FTW title.
Summarize chops.
Yeah, FTW rules, but the people are barred from ringside.
Chops, ladies and gentlemen.
Chop exchange.
So sorry, FTR rules, which FTW. Also means, or sorry, FTW, which means no DQs and whatever. But you're banning people from ringside, so why would they listen to that?
Like I don't know.
Anyways, go ahead.
Chop exchange, which I wrote thinking it would end soon.
Like for 7-8 minutes?
Yeah, the chop's going quite long. Jericho's chest is bleeding as a result. Jericho chops Suzuki numerous times as he's welcoming it because it's Suzuki. Jericho hurts his hand trying.
Yeah.
So we come back for a commercial break. Guess what they're doing? Oh, they're chopping. Unless I wasn't looking, nothing's changed. Jericho finally breaks with a kick to the gut in some forms, and Lariat lightly takes down Suzuki. Springer dropkick from Jericho was meant to be met with a chop botch because he kind of like leaned on his feet and waited for the chop.
Oh, that clothesline that looked terrible, followed by him springboarding and landing and waiting for the chop that was supposed to arrive at the same time, was not a pretty sequence.
Suzuki puts Jericho's hand in a steel chair on the floor and hits it with another one, like the arm trap spot. That was fine. Suzuki's wrenching on Jericho's injured hand. Eye-rake and a code-break from Jericho gets a 1 count. Suzuki gets back up. We get a forearm exchange. Long story short, finish comes when Jericho avoids the gotcha pile driver from Suzuki. Low blow. Judas Effect gets the win. Heels beat down Suzuki. Shibata makes the save.
Yeah,
bad.
This was not my cup of tea, but it seemed to work for the live crowd. They were pretty into this. I made a note of a couple times. So
bad.
I just don't have interest in seeing either of these two at all at this point, let alone like chopping each other, doing one move, a basic move for 7 minutes or whatever it was. Then you get a little bit of sloppiness there and then some basic weapon stuff. And I think the crowd did their best to get into this and save it, but I didn't really have much interest in this. And I don't know, I guess, is this fine mid-card stuff? I was hoping for more for Shibata, but
I didn't think this was good.
I didn't enjoy it.
I like Shibata. I hope Shibata maybe wins that belt. I don't know. I don't even know why we're doing this belt.
I don't know why this.
I would have liked if Hook Captain made it the hardcore title like you were saying, but now it's just suckfest.
There's a lot of stuff that could replace all the learning tree that give people a chance.
Literally anything at this point.
And that's too bad because I have no problem with Brian Keith or Big Bill in some capacity.
Disagree. I have an issue with Brian Keith now.
Yeah.
I hate him. But yeah, this is not good. Slow match that was half chops and not much else. That was entertaining. The FTW matches are supposed to be like, usually they're like these fun TV matches that are plunder filled, but not overly violent, but like usually unique and have some stuff. Even some of the Jericho ones have been decent, like him throwing hockey pucks at Shibata is funny. Mm-hmm. The hockey pucks are cool, the dice, the horseshoes, like he's had some interesting stuff and like they haven't been all bad, despite how much I hate his current shtick.
Hey guys, you can do anything you want and it's legal. Why don't we chop each other?
Yeah, like
in the chest.
Could have been any match.
Awesome.
Like, chop each other in the balls at least if it's no DQ.
Too extreme, guys. Too extreme.
Yeah, like, chop each other in the nuts or something. Like, I don't know. This had a couple basic chair spots at most. Nothing else of the sort.
Nope.
Like, no other weapons. I was waiting for it, and they just kept chopping each other.
Yep.
Suzuki's far from his prime, but even compared to some of his more recent work, this was not a banner effort. Jericho is about as good as he typically is, which is not a ringing endorsement either. And the aftermath was whatever. Shibata, cool, but whatever.
Yep. Agree.
That was not great. Anyways, next we get an interview with Willow, but it's interrupted with Stokely Hathaway. Then Statlander attacks Willow from behind, drops from some crazy, which looks decent actually. Stokely says they want a CMLL Women's World Title Eliminator next week for Statlander. I thought it was solid. They beat
the attack looked good. I thought, right?
I think it's a little weird that smart guy Stokely's asking for an eliminator here, though, because if him and Statlander think so highly of Statlander, would they not
Straight
ask for a
to
title
title.
shot outright?
Mm-hmm.
So counterpoint would be Willow just be Statlander in the tournament, but they shouldn't care about that.
No.
Stokely shouldn't care about that. Like, I think it should be they ask for a title shot, they get an eliminator. That's fair because Willow did just beat her. But Stokely shouldn't be asking for the lesser match. You know what I mean?
And again, it's the classic wrestling. You assault somebody and get what you want. Love it.
I
But the attack looked good, I thought, and the match will be good.
I do hope Statlander wins the eliminator, and then we build to their match at All In, which I guess now it has a title, even though they don't need it.
Right. I don't think they need it, but
I guess
whatever.
that's fine. Because I still stand by it. You have your trios of women's matches for All In, and I think you're golden. We already have the TBS one basically confirmed, and the other one confirmed. We literally just need this one.
And it's happening, I think.
I think it's happening. Well, I know it's happening. It's just more so if they're going to save it for All In, or there's a slight chance they could push it to All Out, which I think would be okay, because then it's
they need something for that.
So that would be okay, but I would really like just to have 3 big women's matches on your biggest show. I think would be great, just to kind of something for the division, you know. Then we get a Bryan Danielson interview from early in the day, but worth noting for you, it's only a clip from this, which is kind of why like we cut in mid speech, kind of.
Gotcha.
There's like a full one on YouTube or something, whatever.
Yeah.
It was basically Jarrett interrupted, and he said he talked about how bad he wanted to win the Owen, but Danielson overcame the odds. He couldn't. He's happy Danielson was the one who won. Something. Go all in if it's all in, because the show is called All In.
Perfect. Jarrett being like suddenly this wise babyface is
I was
jarring.
allowing it for the one match with Hangman, but like, come on, this is
now
too
it's
much.
just like, remember, I was friends with Owen, so babyface now, and the rest of my group, whatever, they're just off doing.
Cheer me, I'm friends with Owen.
But anyways, Danielson sounds believable always, but the Jarrett thing,
But he wasn't even most of this.
Yeah,
it was barely Danielson.
I know. I don't get it. But.
We need to cut off this weird sudden Jarrett babyface run, like you're saying. I get why it started, and I was fine with it temporarily, but it's already too much. Like, it seeped into the finals, it seeped into this. Like, I don't need it. This was fine, but I have zero interest in Jarrett being involved whatsoever, and he spoke in most of this, so it really wasn't much to do with Danielson, which is what we need to start doing.
Yep, and it's just out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Next we get Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida.
New gear for Shida.
It was weird looking.
Dueling chants early, I thought was interesting
like
too.
It was definitely inspired by something, just because like it had like the weird undershirt, and
yeah,
it had to be something from something
that we don't know, a reference we don't get.
I was just saying like you could do a lot worse for Baker's return match than Shida, so I'm hoping
for sure.
I have decent hopes for this for sure. Shida hits a running knee with Baker like laying kind of hanging out the apron. That looked pretty good. I thought like it connected really like meaty. Sling blade from Baker, German suplex from Shida, and then she rolls into a Juji Katami. But Baker tries to counter out, so Shida ends up switching into a guillotine, but she releases and hits a knee strike instead. Shida, like, she's kind of like on her stomach, and she's looking at her kendo stick, which is under the corner, and she's kind of thinking about it, but she decides against it. Baker takes advantage of the ripcord rolling elbow and a fisherman's neck breaker for 2, which she always does really well. Question mark kick and a Falcon Arrow from Shida. She does miss the katana, though, and I thought it looked kind of weird, but then Baker gets her into the lockjaw, so it worked out okay. And she gets the win because only dentists apply that.
That's right.
Properly.
She knows the difference. They teach you that in dental school.
That's dentistry 101.
That's right.
Monet comes out and talks about how big a match between them at All In would be, and then she says no. But then I think her and Blank came after Baker at Comic-Con, so I think the match is confirmed now.
I'm sure.
So her saying no is really nothing here. Then Camille of NWA fame. Oh, wait, you don't know that? Never mind. Doesn't matter.
I've seen a bunch of Camille.
Yeah, I know. She comes in from behind Baker, and then she hits her with a pump kick. New Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it was kind of like that China mold, too, almost.
Torch rock submission from Camille, then she spins Baker into a Blue Thunder Bomb, taking Hologram's finish less than a week into his career.
That's crazy.
Anyways, so she here.
I thought the match ended up good. At the beginning, I thought there were some issues, but by the end...
I thought it wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good, especially for, like, Dynamite women's match
standards.
Yeah,
I thought so, too.
Considering we usually get something involving Sky Blue, Anna Jay, or the Outcasts.
And there was some decent stuff near the end of this, and nice to see Sheeta, and I wish she
I'm
would
always happy
go
to see Sheeta.
full-blown heel just for something different. I would like to see what she would do with that. I liked Monet's attitude after the match. This is kind of the character I think she pulls off a lot better.
I think she's a lot better.
And now she has her Diesel, right, which I think is smart. Camille as a heavy for Monet, I think is a good idea.
It's a good introduction to Camille, too, for those who don't know her. And no offense, coming from NWA, I'm not fully confident on her in-ring abilities. So this is a good way to like kind of get her in the door.
And then if she does work out, you build the inevitable feud between Monet and her, right?
And Monet would be a great start for Camille. So yeah, like
a lot of this made sense to me.
For sure. Yeah, I liked it. And it was two of my preferred women in the division, so not as bad as you're going to usually get with some of the questionable choices that we could have had. Baker wins as expected, but I hope they start to do more of Sheeta just because I think she's really good in the ring.
Me too.
And she deserves to be featured more. She really hasn't done anything since she lost the belt to Storm.
Yeah.
Like she won it from Storm, lost it to Saraya, won it from Saraya, lost it to Storm. So that was a whole annoying saga. I was telling you, I looked at her recent title runs and they're so short. Camille's debut did surprise me. Good for her for getting out of the NWA and out of their women or even anyone in the whole roster. Really, she seemed like one of the only ones worth taking from there.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the talent pool in NWA, there's really not a lot of people you would take from there.
No,
I genuinely can't think of another one.
She's one for sure.
Is there anyone else like Aldis? You could argue he's gone. Ricky Stark's gone. LA Knight gone.
Carino, some people like
Eddie
him.
Kingston gone. I guess maybe him. Yeah, but I haven't seen much of him. I'm interested to see the Michaels Diesel dynamic, like you're saying, how that'll play out. I hope they still join the Elite, though.
It would still work with Camille. She kind of did that
The strictly
gimmick
business
over
thing
there
with
anyways.
Aldis and Latimer and
Yeah.
I think Chris Masters.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or Chris Adonis. Anyways, then we get a Patriarch interview. Cage is holding all the belts because, still. I think you should do, because he was holding all three, but I think you should wear one around his waist and then do the thing where you have them, the two belts connected and you have to hang off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Because then it would just, look nicer and you can still hand gesture.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyways, he talked about how they won the Trios House on Collision. Screw job. Okay?
It was.
And he mentions Nick Wayne being in the Royal Rampage on Rampage, which, if you don't remember, is the 2-ring Battle Royal winner gets a world title shot at Grand Slam. Last year was for a TNT title shot, so I think that's why Darby faced Christian at Wrestle Dream. Or, no, I think they had a match before that, but that led to that match. Remember he got dropped on the stairs?
Right.
And the ring came apart, and then Edge debuted?
Yes.
Remember that match?
I do.
Anyways, he says Nick has earned the right to speak for himself, which is awesome. And then so they leave him to let him speak on his own. He talks about they were the first they were the Trios champions, and now he will be number one contender. But then his attention shifts to someone off screen. It's my boy. It's Kip Sabian. Nick said something about him seeing him around a bunch. I have no idea what that means. Collision.
He did. He said he saw him somewhere else, and now he sees him here.
I guess Collision.
Probably.
Kip's got the handlebar mustache going on, looking like one of the Outrunners, kind of.
Yeah.
And he says he'll throw Sabian out of the Royal Rampage. He says nobody cares that Sabian's father is dead and to be a man and grow up. So a little bit of Christian seeping through there. And
Absolutely.
I thought it was solid. Christian's great as always. I thought Nick sounded pretty good for a solo outing, which we don't get a lot.
He did. I thought he sounded comfortable.
Had a pretty good delivery.
Yep.
No clue what the deal with Superbad is, but I hope hopefully it's something good. I'd watch a match between them.
It's just Nick Wayne beating him on
probably
some show we don't watch.
I hope he reverts back to his Superbad thing and his theme comes back because I love that theme song dearly.
They're just running out his contract and then he'll be gone. Don't kid yourself. Where's Penelope, by the way?
I don't know. I think she died.
Careful.
So and with it being for the title shot at Grand Slam, fat chance either of them win it, and Bang Bang Gang got screwed. I will die on that hill.
They did. They definitely did.
Outrageous. See, you're wrong. I want you to tell the millions you were wrong, and I was right. Which is how, if you're new here, that's how it always is, and how it's always gonna be. I'm right, and that's it. He's wrong, and if he's right, it's because he agreed with me.
Right.
That's how the world works. Then
Seems to.
Get Pac versus Boulder, formerly of Bear County.
My favorite tag team, obviously.
They got out of the county, and now they're with a jacked guy.
It's the bigger of the two.
The larger bear of the county.
And even commentators even though Pac's really small, he's the favorite in this, which is nice, because obviously he is.
I wrote the size comparison's pretty hilarious.
It is. Boulder's huge.
Yeah, he is a beefy... And the name is not It's not far
And then
off.
he rips off a moonsault that looked really graceful.
Corner pumpkin from Pac, then he gets flat with a shoulder tackle. Boulder misses a diving moonsault, which was
Looked
from the middle
good.
rope, but just look-wise, very Jeff Cobb-esque.
Really graceful.
Very Jeff Cobb-esque, which is a
huge
compliment.
man. Yep.
Jeff Cobb is too graceful.
I watched him face Takesta, I told you. Good match.
Pac follows the corner uppercut and a corner shotgun dropkick, followed by rapid stomps. Diving shotgun dropkick from Pac, and then he wins with a brainbuster, just to spite me.
Gets a giant man up for a brainbuster.
Just to spite me.
So just an enhancement match, and I was expecting something afterwards, right? But nope, it's just over. It's just, hey, Pac's on TV beating people really fast. Okay. Cool.
Boulder's a big dude that Pac shouldn't be able to lift, and somehow they still managed to not give me a black arrow. Like, small flippy guy versus big guy. Classic dive finish because he can't get
Nope.
me. You chop him down,
Spite
you do the dive. Because it's easy, looks cool, makes sense. Pac looking up for him for that was cool, and it's impressive, but you really couldn't give me the black arrow. I don't understand why you couldn't give me the black arrow. Like, it's ridiculous. And additionally, no mention of his international title shot, which is weird. So, no promo, no black arrow. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Ridiculous. Then we get Team AEW promo. Swerve talks about how he asked everyone if they're ready to get violent, and he's leading them in the battle. Darby basically took exception to him being their leader, or anointing himself that position because of their history. He said this is about getting even with the elite, and like Swerve was basically like, we can settle this after because they have extensive history. I'm like doing some silent hiccup thing. And then so Caster chimed in saying he didn't like Swerve Darby either. And kind of like, because obviously they claimed to have history with Swerve and Keith Lee. Anthony Bone said it's about them getting the tag titles back and eliminating the Bucks. Briscoe said tonight they can put all that aside. He said a bunch of his usual jargon, uniting everybody. He said tonight they'll stand united. And he was shouting, doing his ramble and all that stuff.
Yes, enjoyed Briscoe's part. Did not enjoy Swerve because just when I thought like he was getting his edge back, it's like now you're bickering with baby faces. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't killer Swerve here. He shouldn't be wasting his time bickering with Max Caster and whoever else, right? It's frickin' Swerve. So I thought this was a step back into him coming across a bit softer, and I don't like that. But
I liked that. I thought it was
Briscoe's
fine.
cool.
I liked everyone in like the history there. I would like him versus Darby again. That'd be a solid like world title match for TV or something. Or actually, that could main event a pay-per-view if you do it right. And I like Briscoe unifying everyone just because I love Briscoe.
Yeah,
he's
great.
Cool. He's just enjoyable every time. You can't hate him. You can't. Then we get Mariah May versus Caitlin Alexis.
I believe that's what I wrote down. I wasn't quite sure I heard correctly.
Like, holy, looks like a jobber and a half.
Local talent, I'm guessing.
May enters with she's got her Owen belt in one hand and Storm's shoe in the other, still bloody. So that was kind of cool.
That's a cool touch. Yeah,
like
she
that.
leaves it on the ring steps.
Yeah. Running shotgun dropkick right away from May just looks gnarly. Diving shotgun dropkick gnarly. Rapid shots to the head from May, which was, I think, obviously purposely reminiscent of how she beat Storm with the shoe.
Yes.
So that's decent. And it's also kind of match-wise reminiscent of the hammer and anvil elbows of Blackpool Combat Club.
Mm-hmm.
Running knee from May, which looked pretty good. Mayday connects. No pin, though, because finish comes. We get a hip attack and the Storm Zero for the win. Storm's music plays, then May laughs because obviously she planned it, which was pretty funny.
Me too.
Storm comes in dressed as a fan, ? She takes off a black wig, attacks May. Refs come to separate things. Storm has a mic, and she asks May if she's ready to die, because Storm is.
I'm not sure they executed the Storm showing up and, revealing herself real well.
I thought, because I saw the clip of this before, and I thought she was like a cameraman or something.
I didn't know where she came from at all.
I
But
thought there was effective squash looks. I thought she looked
she
solid.
always looks intense.
She looked really good in her return to, her solo act. And I'm looking forward to this match. The post-match wasn't much. It was fine. It doesn't add a whole lot, but they're going to start building it more after, I assume. Now that Storm's back.
I like that she stole finishers just for mind games too, right?
I like that, yeah.
But it's funny because officials separate the two of them, right? So where were those officials when Camille attacked Baker before?
I guess because they didn't do an insane brawl. It was just
they're saving up for this.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to fight Camille?
No. I thought there's good heat for this feud, and it's not something AEW excels at for the women's division, so it's nice to see.
I think they're building multiple solid women's feuds right now.
Agree. I think it's time for May to win this title.
Absolutely.
What does Toni Storm do then?
I don't care.
This is where it gets tough. There was a built-in way for kind of Mariah May to interact with her because she was obsessed with her or whatever. I think this is where Toni Storm's going to have trouble interacting with regular people in this character she's doing.
I think after she loses the belt, Storm takes a sabbatical and she just acts like this didn't happen. This didn't happen.
They love this, so
you get rid of this character. It won't survive. it's going to die a horrible death if you keep it too long.
I just don't know where you go.
So I say...
Maybe they're smart enough to figure it out, but...
Maybe, but I say after All In, you get rid of it and leave people wanting more. I'm not that people.
Me either.
But I do mean other people. And I was saying to you, I hope May carries around her Owen belt for like a little while, just so then she could have that in the women's belt. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Right.
Just because it's ceremonial anyway, so might as well have it just for fun.
Many as you can.
Then we get a Blood and Guts hype package, which had Dean Malenko narrating bits. I didn't really write anything for this. It doesn't really matter.
Just a recap of how we got here, and then they hit us with the rules of the match, basically.
Yeah,
after.
it's like, 5 minutes for the first bit. People alternate. Elite have the advantage. You can only win once.
Everyone's there.
Once everyone's in, yeah.
Got it.
And it's submission or surrender for this, right? Like original
That
War
will
Games.
come into play, maybe.
Yes.
In a lackluster finish, I thought. But anyways.
I don't know. I liked it.
We'll get there.
I can see why you would say that, but I like...
Heels, anyways.
I like how it works. Well, I guess because they actually care about him. I mean, I get Perry doesn't care, which I thought was cool.
But he just watched Cutler get destroyed last week. He don't care.
Well, Cutler's useless, though.
I guess.
I mean, Cutler is quite frankly useless. If you're getting taken up by Jeff Jarrett, I'm sorry. Anyways, it's Team AEW, which is Swerve, Acclaim, Darby, and Mark Briscoe versus the Elite, which is... Jack Perry,
Correct.
Okada, Bucks, and Hanagman.
Yes.
Well, I guess the Elite and Hanagman. He's not Elite.
Nope.
Perry starts for Elite. The scapegoat mask he has for his entrance looks pretty crazy. I really like it. It's just like, it looks like a piñata.
It does.
But I think it just looks really cool.
The pillars start out, eh?
Pillars start out. It's Perry and Darby, which I think is a good start. Because I do like the way they built Swerve and Hangman. Because initially that would have been my pick to start, but I like what they did better, I think.
I find it strange that you don't put the champion in early because he's supposed to be like obviously the best of the best.
I guess, but Darby is also suited for this.
He is.
So I guess it's fair. Perry attacks Darby before he can enter the cage, and he powerbombs him into the cage wall, so they're at ringside. Perry moves the steel stairs next to the barricade, and he sends Darby into them, and so Darby kind of like hits off the side of the stairs and then off the top of the
then into the crowd at some woman's feet, basically.
Yeah, so there's a bit of crowd brawling. Back in the ring, Perry set up a trash can in the corner and then lawn darts Darby into it, which looked pretty awesome.
It did.
And I showed you the clip of him lawn darting Marco Stunt, just
poor Marco.
murdering him, which was horrible. Nick Jackson's second for the Elite. Darby goes for a springboard arm drag thing, and Nick shoves him in the cage wall, so he hits off the cage wall, off the top rope, and then he gets a super kick, so that was pretty cool. And then Darby's trapped between the ring and the cage wall, because whereas with WWE, the steel cage is sitting on the apron, and Hell in a Cell, there's ample enough ringside space.
There is.
The AEW cage is always there's very minimal ringside space. There's a little bit, but it's really enough.
It's pretty tight.
This one, there's enough. So I think on the entrance stage side, there's enough for the barbed wire boards and whatnot. But so Darby's trapped in between there. He eats a PK from Nick, which looked pretty cool.
Did.
Then Mark Briscoe enters next for Team AEW. He steps off a chair, from the left ring, we'll say, to close on Perry over the ropes into the right ring, from No Man's Land, which is what they call the middle part, which I think is kind of a cool name for that. Matt Jackson's next for the Elite. He DDTs Darby on this black case. He brought in, spiked him, and looked gnarly.
Cracked the case.
Cracked the case, yeah. It was kind of wooden or something like that, but kind of breakaway-ish.
Yeah, maybe.
Matt buckle bumps Darby into Briscoe. Briscoe's seated in the corner, on the middle rope, so he was kind of stuck there. He catapults Darby into Perry, smashing him in the face with the black case. So that looked pretty good. The Bucks hit Darby with so it was a diving double foot stomp from Nick into a Dominator from Matt, and then Nick rolls right into a backstabber to Briscoe, who is still stuck in that corner. Bowens comes out next for Team AEW. He goes on his great flurry, kind of like the hot tag flurries he always does in tag matches, but just
I enjoy
better.
Him.
He absolutely drills Perry with the Famouser, and then Matt chucks the black case at his face. So that's pretty cool. And I forgot to mention, but both Matt and Nick brought in black cases, so there is one of each, or one for each. Sorry. Bucks go for the TK jar with Nick springboard between rings, but Briscoe catches him with a super cutter, and Darby hits a Scorpion Death Drop to Matt. Then he does the classic thumbtack skateboard stomp to Matt.
Yep. And a lot of tacks in his arm.
Yeah, a lot of them landed in his arm, yeah. So I guess they weren't stuck on very much. Bowens goes after Perry with actual scissors. So that was nice.
Oh, it puts him in his mouth, which the crowd got a really good response.
Yeah, he was drilling him in the head, and then he had kind of had him open and was digging into his mouth a bit. Okada enters next for the Elite. He brings back the Rainmaker Drive sign from Anarchy in the Arena.
Just clobbers people with it.
He clobbers people with it. Tombstone on said sign to Briscoe. He fakes a Rainmaker and instead flips Briscoe off and kicks him in the nuts, which was hilarious. And then Excalibur coins it the Bitchmaker,
yes,
which I thought was also pretty funny. So Okada still finds a way to amuse me, which I love. Caster's next for Team AEW after a commercial break. He cleans house using a mic and then a chain as a weapon. Super chair shot from Caster to Okada. He did get his hands up. So it's okay because it was to the head, unlike later.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks double hip toss to Bowens on a barbed wire board. Then Nick body slams him on the barbed wire board again. Then the Bucks sandwich Bowens between two barbed wire boards, and Nick hits a swanton on him, which just that can't be fun.
So Bowens seemed to take a lot more than Caster. Remember, we were like, Acclaim don't seem to fit, and maybe like they can really show out in
Caster
this.
took a bit, but Bowens really
I think
showed
Bowens,
out.
yeah, he looked good.
Because he had the great flurry when he came in. He took some great stuff here, and later on.
There's another one coming, yeah.
Yeah, so Bowens, he does deserve a lot of props for this match, I think, for sure. Okada puts tacks in Caster's mouth, and the Bucks do a double super kick while Perry holds him captive. So there's some for Caster too. Hangman's last for the Elite, but he is not there.
Nope. Which I like that touch.
I do like what they did. Barbed wire scissor me timbers to Nick. Like Bowens put barbed wire on his leg, and they did it, so that was kind of funny. Swerve enters last for Team AEW. There's Hangman. He jumps him from behind with a chair. Cuffs Swerve to the outside of the cage and beats the tar out of him.
But I swear Swerve's one of his wrists got uncuffed.
Maybe
I thought he
they
was
just
cuffed
weren't able to
like
get it. Like Perry got crucified later, but maybe not.
I guess. I don't know. Because then all of a sudden his left arm was free.
I swear you're right, but I don't honestly know for sure. Okada dropkicks Briscoe through a barbed wire board and propped in the corner. Hangman takes Onan and then grabs the title, the AEW title, shouting at Swerve that he doesn't deserve it. Then he beats him up more while shouting at him. Matt grabs the mic that Caster brought in, and he asks what Hangman's doing. He said they had a deal, and if he's not in the ring, he's fired. So then obviously
I like that he felt the need to do that on mic. He couldn't just yell at Hangman.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this is for everyone to hear.
Yeah. So Hangman is in the match now, and it started with Matt orders the door to be locked, and the match started. Brief stare down between Hangman and Okada. There's been kind of a couple teases of that.
Yeah.
Between that and the other week. Jarrett comes down. Cutler says he can't go in there. Guitar shot.
Shocking. He's as soon as you see him there, I'm like, I didn't even know who it was, right? You're like, it's Cutler. I'm like, oh, guitar shot for sure.
Swerve gets uncuffed. He rips a hole in the wall with some cutters that Nana had to get in through the cage wall. Swerve cleans house, and then he and Hangman stand off in opposite rings. They brawl in no man's land. They go into the right ring. They have a bit of a back and forth. Darby sneaks in with the code red to Hangman. Then Okada hits him with like a really high flapjack. Like he got launched
him, yeah.
But that looked pretty sweet. Swerve has a staple gun in a Hangman corner. He goes for it, but Nick low blows him. Matt opens one of the black cases, which is full of staple guns for the Elite. When they surround Swerve with him and go trigger happy with the staples. And I thought this time they'd have the sense to fake it. Nope, I saw staples in Swerve
in
again.
His body.
And just
you could see one in his shoulder and some in his back.
I don't know why he feels the need to keep doing
it's crazy.
this. It makes me as uncomfortable as it did at Full Gear last year. It's just horrible. Swerve gets back up laughing like he did at Full Gear. Then he fights back. He takes him out he crushed Nick on the top rope, stapled him, backbreaker to Perry, staples him. My favorite one was Okada went for the bitch maker, and so like he records him. He like flips him off, and then Swerve staples his finger, and Okada's reaction is just that was honestly one of my favorite parts.
And Page's face, I think.
That was just hilarious.
Or
Yeah,
neck.
Hangman accidentally hits a buckshot to Okada, then he gets his face stapled. And a house call. So that was pretty killer from Swerve. So that was some classic Swerve right there. Back from a commercial break, Nick and Bowens are fighting at the edge of the cage. Bowens gets knocked off through a stack of tables.
Yeah, 4 tables.
One of them didn't break.
Pretty good.
I swear there's never been like a quad table break where every table's broken.
And it was one of those pretty safe little falls, but at least he had his
fall
head
looked really
smacked
good,
off the cage a few times, so it made sense.
It looked good. J Drillers go around from Briscoe.
Everybody.
For the Elite. It looked good, and he stuck Perry for sure.
He did.
Looked awesome too was Briscoe hitting a froggy bow to Matt through a table that was in no man's land. That looked pretty awesome. Darby was hanging from the cage roof and did a coffin drop to Perry through a table in the far ring. That was pretty sweet. Cash opens the other black case the Bucks had, and it's cuffed, so they cuff Perry to the cage crucifixion style. And Briscoe wails on him with a kendo stick, trying to make him quit. Darby asks if he quits, and Perry spits at them, so then he said, let's get the party started. Big unprotected chair shot to the face of Perry from Briscoe.
Apparently a gimmick chair, I'm hearing.
That's fine then, but he drilled him. It looked awesome. Darby douses Perry in gasoline, and he says he'll light Perry on fire if he doesn't get the TNT title match he wants.
We can smell it from here, the classic commentary
That was
line.
not, why don't you say, like, you just, like, do your best guess, or just because you can assume.
Yeah. Well, he came out with a gas can. Like, guess what's in there?
Or because he already set him on fire. Like, it's, Perry spits at Darby, but Matt, who was cuffed to the bottom rope, agrees to it and surrenders, giving Team AEW the win.
Yes. Didn't love the finish. It just, like, I don't know, it's kind of anticlimactic in a giant match like this that there's not some big spot to finish. You know what I mean? It's more like the heel team saving each other by quitting.
Well, I guess because they're kind of wusses.
But nonetheless, very entertaining match.
I really enjoyed this one.
Some crazy spots along the way. The only thing that hurt it, like, the actual match itself, really fun, but I didn't think the build and the heat for it was really that. It didn't feel that important to me. You know what I mean?
I thought, like, the build was decent, but I think that the match definitely over-delivered on said build.
And I feel like for a bit, the tension between Swerve and Paige kind of overshadowed a lot of it because everyone was kind of waiting, me included.
I do like that there was a lot of different dynamics in the match, though, because you have Perry and Darby feuding, the Bucks and the Acclaimed. Briscoe has issues with Perry, and like then Okada and Hangman kind of issues on their team. Obviously, the Hangman Swerve. So I like that they did have different things kind of going on. And it's like when the big matches have the stories within the match. You know
For sure. I thought Briscoe looked really good. I thought, like we talked about, Bowen's got a lot of time to shine.
Agreed.
I didn't feel there was a ton of Swerve and Okada, but again, Swerve came out last, so I guess
Okada still found a way to amuse me, though.
Sure.
Darby wasn't as crazy as I expected either.
Very good match, good main event. Didn't quite feel as epic as some of these matches have in the past, but I still was entertained for sure.
I thought it felt more epic based on the match than the build, because I thought the build to last year's was great with the Elite and Blackpool.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this one a lot. I thought it was one of my one of the better Blood and Guts matches, if not my favorite. It's probably either this year or last year. Just because I thought like they got things going right off the bat. Which
they did.
The crowd brawling, never love it, but it was really a minimum. So that's like, it's really not a blip on the match. The rest of this I found to be enjoyable. The violence is there, and there's some creative stuff. Going over everything again would take too long, but some of my favorites off the top of my head was the barbed wire massacre of Bowens, because like respect to taking that, because when you're sandwiched in between, there's no escaping that. The table dives from Darby and Briscoe, the stable gun madness, and Okada just.
I like Darby's coffin drop a lot.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Off the top,
Okada that was just funny. The Hangman Swerve interaction and Briscoe's melee towards the end, like all the J drillers and beating the crap out of Perry. Did not like the Jarrett part, but that was a minimal.
It was
minimal part, so that's okay, I guess. I do kind of like the finish. It calls back to Anarchy in the Ring with the fire bit, and I think the Bucks surrendering like is a little anticlimactic, but I think Perry also looks badass because like he wasn't going to surrender.
Quit. Yeah,
like he was willing to die for the cause, choice. Like he says. So regardless of how you feel, but like or what the character's supposed to be, Perry is kind of a man of his word. Like with the sacrifice crowd, like he would have taken another getting set on fire again if he had to. So I thought he looked pretty killer, just like being willing to take it, right? And just taking all that. So that made him look solid. And I think then Perry versus Darby has to have something on it for Wembley. Like, you can't just do a straight match with them, I feel like.
And doesn't Perry have a championship right now?
No, I mean, but like it has to have a stipulation on it.
As
I feel
well?
like that you have to do something. Like,
could be.
Even just
Inferno?
Like, I mean, I could see it.
No, thanks.
I feel like it's too much setup for that, though.
It is.
Like, just, I mean, like, having to put that up, take it down for, like, I don't know. I would rather not that. But anyways, there's also tension between the Elite and Hangman multiple times. Various feuds were furthered in here. So I like that there was multiple things going on. I like what we had in this one. I thought it was a very enjoyable main event. I liked it. I thought, at least match-wise on what this match is, I thought it delivered. I really liked it.
You liked it more than I liked it, but I think you liked it more. So overall, most of the show was blood and guts, right? I thought the women's match was good. Jericho Suzuki was not. MJF Ospreay promo was good, and then enhancement matches. Based on not liking blood and guts quite as much as you, I went a B- show. I thought it was solid. I think you're probably a little higher than me.
Yeah,
this week.
For sure. Overall, I think it was a mixed show because it's a two halves.
Yeah.
In ring, Jericho Suzuki bad, Baker Shida good, Pac fine, May good. Then the main event, which is essentially half the show, which I think is the second week now that we've had like a half
first
match
half
show.
Last week, second half this week.
So I think it was very enjoyable though. I liked it. The only notable segment was MJF, which was good, which gets us an exciting rematch, which I don't think will pan out. Jarrett Johnson, Patriarchy was solid. Team AEW promo was solid. Not everything was good. Most of it was, so it's a B, almost a B+, but I think a good B show.
Good, yeah, enjoyable show. All right, we'll detour out of there into a little bit of trivia in the next segment. We call it Off the Top of His Head. All right, so revisiting again, last week he had a ton of quizzes, so I cherry-picked again from, I should give them credit, onlineworldofwrestling.com. So I've picked 16. Some of them I think are impossible, but you never know. And the first one I'm already questioning whether this is correct, but you can tell me. So which of the following wrestlers is not a blood member of the famous Hart family?
Not a blood member? Okay.
Harry Smith, TJ Wilson, Natty Neidhart, Teddy Hart.
TJ Wilson.
Yes,
TJ. Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it'd be trickier than that because I thought it was like not a blood member. It'd be like who's married in and who's not. You know what I mean?
I thought Natty was.
Natty's Neidhart's kid, so it was.
But Neidhart's
married a Hart. Brett's sister, I think. So that's what I thought the question was going to relate to is like who's married in and who's not.
Okay, so it's right then.
Tyson Kidd was only in Hart Dynasty because he was like family friend and trained there. And then I guess he's married in because he married Natty.
And now he's like producer or something, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah, because didn't he like almost die or something?
Yeah, he was hurt. Okay, so that one worked. Which of the following wrestlers have never held a tag title with The Rock?
Okay.
Foley, Undertaker, Austin, Jericho.
Austin.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Who is the first wrestler to win the Royal Rumble on 2 separate occasions? And if you want for a bonus, what years was that?
It has to be Hogan, right?
It is Hogan.
1991.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who was Randy Orton's first opponent when he debuted on WWE television in 2002?
Parker Hawley.
Why?
Let's go.
Why do you know that?
I guarantee I've seen a clip before too. And you remember
sad.
the Ozone, right?
Your existence is sad.
You remember his finisher?
The Ozone?
Yeah.
No.
You remember MVP's finisher? Like the weird...
Yeah.
It's like that. It's that.
Gotcha. Who did John Cena defeat for his first championship in WWE?
Big Show.
For what title?
U.S. title, Mania 20.
Correct. If you get this one, we got problems.
Okay.
Which WWE personality introduced the Boogeyman character to the SmackDown audience in 2005?
Simon Dean?
No.
Damn it.
More obscure. Much more obscure.
Oh.
Like, I think from NXT, but I'm not even confident.
What do you mean from NXT?
I think he's like an NXT dude.
Ciampa?
No.
Gargano?
No, like an obscure.
Oh, he's like...
Palmer Cannon. You're never getting that.
Oh, I do know who that is, but I wouldn't have guessed him.
I'm pretty sure he was in NXT, like game show days, maybe?
I don't think so.
No?
That's Lucky Cannon.
Oh, maybe.
Palmer Cannon, I think he left on an international tour because he couldn't hack it. Because that was back when, like, it was JBL and Benoit, like, you know, the locker room hazing. Like,
yeah.
JBL.
Yes, good old JBL. Nice man. See if you know this. What year did the first ever War Games cage match take place in NWA?
87?
Why? Yeah, that's correct.
Let's go. I don't know why I knew that, but I knew it was something like that.
Which 3 wrestlers participated in the first 4 TLC matches?
Sorry.
3 wrestlers were in the first 4.
Okay, so...
Because obviously you know pretty much who was in all of them.
The first 2 I know for sure because it was the same people. The third one was, I think... So one would be Jeff Hardy, right?
Correct.
All 4. Okay. Bubba?
Correct.
3, you said?
Yeah.
3 wrestlers?
Yes, one more.
The 4th match was... Because I remember the 4th TLC on Raw was Hurricane. It was Jeff and RVD, Bubba and Spike, I think. And then it would have to be... Would it be Christian?
It is Christian.
Because I think
according to him,
Christian and Chris Jericho were the last. I think on the Raw one was Christian, Chris Jericho, Hurricane,
Mm-hmm.
RVD,
team,
RVD and Jeff, and then Bubba and Spike. And then I remember Kane had to win that one by himself because that was when they did the Raw Roulette wheel.
Yep.
And the SmackDown one with TLC 3.
Raw Roulette's kind of cool.
I think it was. Well, it's like the Halloween Havoc thing, right? TLC 3, I think, was Benoit and Jericho, Hardys and Dudleys. I think it would have to be. Wait, no, it would be Hardys and Edge and Christian.
I don't know. Maybe.
No, actually, I don't. Never mind.
How many tag team titles did Mike Rotunda win?
4.
Close.
3.
5.
Damn it.
This one...
There's 2 under Money Inc. and at least 2 with Barry Windham.
This is obscure, but I feel like there's a chance you know it. Mid-90s WWF tag team made up of 2 young wrestlers, Eric Watts and Chad Fortune.
Oh, it sounds...
Mid-90s, obscure. We got alliteration, and they include a year that everyone referred to before it happened. I don't know if that's helpful. So it had 2000 in it.
Techno Team?
Techno Team 2000.
I only have heard of
right.
that because of the WWE, like the encyclopedia book I had.
Yes, I figured.
I've seen that. Like, I've come across them. I never read about them.
So I don't know if you know this one because it's WCW, which is not your wheelhouse. When Meng/Haku jumped from WCW to WWF at Royal Rumble 2001, what WCW championship did he hold at that time?
Hardcore?
Correct.
I think that's
the hint I was gonna give you was like he was never a major.
Yeah.
Was always gonna be a minor title.
That, yeah.
Who of the following has never held a tag team title with Nash?
Nash. Okay. Is this multiple companies spanning?
I don't know. Michaels, Hall, Waltman, Page, Diamond Dallas. That is. Michaels, Hall, Waltman,
I know I can only name
DDP.
Michaels and Hall. I feel like...
So you're down to 50-50.
Page?
Nope.
Is it Wellman?
Yep.
I thought... Okay,
because you would assume...
I knew. I thought it was going to be a trick.
Right. It was.
I should have known.
Who of the following was never a member of the Skyscrapers in WCW?
I don't even know what that is.
Undertaker, Nash, Spivey, Vicious. I know this one.
Nash?
Correct. The rest are all the same era. That one's easy.
Sounded...
One of those is out of place.
I know Dan Spivey and Taker were...
I was watching WCW as a kid at that time. I remember the Skyscrapers very much.
I remember them now that I sounded familiar off the top of my head, but I couldn't...
That's the name of the segment. You said the thing. Good luck with this one. Bret Hart wrestled 2 matches. Well, maybe you might get it, actually. At the first ever In Your House pay-per-view. Name both of his opponents.
Hakushi?
And? I can't believe you got that one, first of all. Better known for commentary in WWE.
Lawler.
Correct.
Oh, did you see? I think it was the pay-per-view before Slammiversary. Kushida did like a Hakushi.
I saw, yeah. Name all 4 opponents that Randy Savage defeated to win the undisputed title at WrestleMania 4.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't know any of these.
DiBiase?
Correct.
That was the finals. Bad News Brown?
No.
Bam Bam?
No.
Hacksaw?
No.
Rick Rude?
No. Really, really big guy. Changed his
Bundy.
gimmick to something stupid.
Akeem?
Well, before that?
Oh, One Man Gang.
Yeah, the OMG. Good.
Boss Man.
No, I just saw this guy mention a video as an underrated star who, when they brought him into WWF, they dyed his hair blonde to try and do a Hulk Hogan thing. But he's a black man.
Butchery?
Correct.
That's what?
And finally, Greg Valentine. I'll give you that one.
That doesn't even make sense.
Last one. Which wrestler only lasted 3 seconds in the 1989 Royal Rumble? I think I'd like to say I knew this,
Was
but
it one of the Bushwhackers?
No.
Okay, so I'm not thinking the right Rumble then.
89.
Andre?
No. Big Juice Monkey, allegedly.
Is that like he's Jack?
But from a tag team. Yeah.
Warlord?
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
The biggest, juiciest guy of that era, pretty much.
I don't think this was when, but like remember, so because obviously he came in with the Powers of Pain and he had like the face paint with Barbarian. But then remember he came back.
Loved the Powers of Pain when I was a kid.
Bald Warlord, and he was like he had like the kind of Terminator looking
mask,
bit.
yeah.
And that was like juiced out.
Phantom
Warlord
of the Opera.
Too.
Yes, he was crazy.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, so it's getting late. We need to get back to talking about the week of wrestling. Anything else we watched that we thought was notable we can talk about in the segment called Highspots and Restholds. Okay, starting with, I guess, Raw this week. I've been enjoying Raw the last, 3 weeks, month? I thought this was a few notches below that. Still some stories I was enjoying, but some of the stories that I thought had been really good were not quite as strong this week. Wyatt Six being one of them, sort of thing. But anyways, we'll get into that. Gunther did an in-ring segment, kind of similar to last week. He calls Priest street trash at one point and says that Priest
Walter's just like racist now.
Your reign's been underwhelming, blah, blah, blah. You should just come out here and give me the title. So Priest comes down the ramp. He's got a mic in his hand, but he doesn't use it. He just immediately attacks Gunther. So they have to be pulled apart. They keep fighting backstage a little bit later. So I think Pierce bans both of them from the building. So that's where that one's going, although we hear from Gunther again later in the show. Braun and Dragunov had another really strong match, cut short again this time. It's a spear.
I've seen people complain about that. Yeah, that like it's just the same like DQ and like
it is. They're getting to non-finishes, right?
Breaker runs in with a spear constantly.
Yeah, so it looked awesome, I thought. Dragunov's coming off the apron, right, into a spear, and he kind of hits his head on the apron as he falls as well. He also, Dragunov along the way, had a good-looking superplex H-bomb spot, but he couldn't make the cover. And just, again, a really fun match. Dragunov is just such a valuable guy to have on the roster, just so intense, so good at selling. Everything's interesting. Mm-hmm. And so we're getting Braun and Zayn at SummerSlam, right, which should be good as well. But I'm just hoping
I hope they add Dragunov still.
I just hope Dragunov doesn't get stuck in this spot of he has amazing matches but doesn't need to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because winning Dragunov is more fun. Balor is kind of telling Dom to handle the Jey Uso situation, even though Ripley's like, she has no interest. She's just kind of messing with Dom. So I think that's I haven't talked about it a lot, but I think Balor's story in all of this is kind of getting lost in the larger, like, Dom, Liv, Ripley. He's clearly up to something here.
What do you mean?
And I'm kind of finding it interesting. I don't know who he's setting up somebody, I think, whether it's Ripley or Dom or somebody. I think he's got plans, and I'm kind of enjoying seeing it.
I would hope so, because Balor's awesome, and they've been wasting him.
So I think he's manipulating things in the middle a little bit somehow.
Well, because I remember the one week when she left the hotel key on the table, he like slyly took it away, and like there's been a few there has been a few instances, but
I feel like it's almost like he's telling Dom to break it off with Liv, but also walking Dom into meetings with Liv, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
I think there's something up.
Was it this week where they were looking for Jay?
Yes.
And they split up, and he
ran into Liv.
Because Balor's because clearly Dom didn't want to be left alone, and Balor did it anyways.
Left him alone, got him to be alone.
That's true. I'm interested to see what he's doing. I saw someone say you do a splinter Judgment Day where it's I think Priest and Ripley, but I guess Dom's with
You'd
Ripley
think
now.
McDonough would stay with Balor.
Has to. Well, the tag champs, even though they lost this week.
Well, and they're trained and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, McDonough would stay with Balor. I think it'd be them and Dom or something, and then.
So that's a storyline I'm still enjoying on this episode, is the Judgment Day, and starting to really notice Balor, and he's up to something, so I'm curious.
We love Balor.
Something I didn't enjoy that much was Lyra losing to Sonya Deville. So it's one of those where Lyra dominates most of the match, and other people get involved, and then Lyra, do you know what Deville's finisher's called?
I do, but I forget.
We like the wordplay. Deville's Advocate. Right? I know.
I do okay. I like that. I like it.
So Lyra's great in the ring, but her involvement with the Rave Girls and Deville's group just slot her pretty low.
Okay, so again, I'm going to say it again. Baszler's not a tag guy.
And Lyra doesn't belong with Carter and Chance. It's just weird.
No, that too.
So Dallas, I put Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan proved to be a tough act to follow, as we feared, because the Nikki Cross was just her yelling vagaries into the microphone and being all cryptic and not honestly saying anything.
I didn't watch it this week, so
it's what we feared.
Can't be that notable.
And maybe worse. So they either needed to stagger the segments because they had two amazing ones. They either needed to spread those out or have written something better for her here, because I thought this was a huge step back.
They should have written something about sanity, and you could do some puns with the word sanity, and just have that, because that was her family, and you could talk about even Bliss ditching her if Bliss isn't going to be used in this, which it doesn't feel like she is.
No,
really.
Not yet.
You could go with that, and there's so many more things. You make reference to the superhero run.
Yeah. Right, because that was her idea, and she could be like, "You didn't let me do it."
Right. Or something. It didn't find her family or whatever. Something related to that. Yeah, there's
further isolated her.
There's a lot better that you could do for sure.
They didn't really do much here. CM Punk starts his. I thought the beginning his promo was so lame. He's in Green Bay. Oh, the Bay's not actually green, but my shoes are pink. What a pipe bomb.
What?
I heard someone else talking about he's become everything he hated and railed against years and years ago.
He's
basically all the things he hated.
He's what he hates, but he's pretending to still not be.
He's now John Cena when he was just hated everything John Cena stood for.
Yeah.
You know?
He's not the same anymore. Now it's I would argue Drew is not, but kind of in that Punk spot now where he's against,
he speaks the truth. You know what I mean? To people.
Exactly. Punk speaks the truth.
Bottom line,
McIntyre.
Yeah. Punk's cleared to wrestle at SummerSlam. Drew comes out, taunts Punk, refers to the bracelet he stole from Punk. So that's obviously a trigger for Punk. Pierce comes out, says he has a referee problem. So I thought this was stupid. Then Seth comes out, and he's back to being a joke. Obviously, he's going to be the ref. I thought
That
Punk
makes
wasn't.
sense in a way, but I would have liked a 3-way.
It's just a weak involvement for him at SummerSlam.
I agree.
And I hated that after an amazing, serious promo on Punk last week, Rollins is back to like
Was that only last week? That feels like so long ago.
the over-the-top, obnoxious, laughing, like wearing ridiculous outfits. And so it was also weird because as soon as Pierce says he has a referee problem and Rollins walks out, we all know exactly where this is going, but they build it up as though it's like this big surprise that Rollins is the ref. Well, you couldn't have telegraphed it more.
Why wouldn't you just bring out Rollins then, then mention the referee problem? Like,
right.
You know,
don't say you have
don't
ref problems.
preface Rollins
Correct.
with the referee thing.
So anyways, I didn't love that segment. I thought Drew was good. Everything else was whatever. The dynamic between Liv and Dom, I think, is still interesting because it's Dom saying he's done with Liv and I'm happy with Rhea and things are great. And Liv's kind of going like, that's it, buddy. You're doing a great job of pretending that everything's great. So it's kind of like,
I did see that, yeah.
where like maybe she's right and he is doing that, or maybe like I don't know.
Or
so
she's even just at least gaslighting him, right?
it's kind of funny. And then Balor shows up and kind of looks frustrated and sends Dom to look for Jey Uso. We had Cross, Akam, and Razor defeat Woods, Otis, and Tozawa. Final prayer to Woods. Distraction after 9 minutes. Great. Final Testament get a win. I don't imagine people really care. Things further came to a head with Otis and Gable. Basically, Otis isn't going to rejoin Gable. The Creeds come out, attack Tozawa and Otis. Wyatt Six come out and Sister Abigail to Gable.
From Howdy.
I thought it was fine, but I'm a little disappointed with the Creeds. They join Gable, and it's like they're on the back foot every time. They're not establishing themselves as any sort of threat or any sort of force. You know what I mean? It's just
like they're not able to at the expense of the Wyatt Six
Right.
being the threat.
Right.
Like, which is like good because I'm glad they're establishing that group, but it sucks because I think Team Gable also deserves.
Yeah, because as soon as they turn heel and join this guy, now they're getting one-upped week
Yeah.
after week, right?
It's like they timed it poorly.
Interesting choice there. What else did I make a note of? Sheamus attacks both men, ruins a Bronson Reed-Pete Dunne match, so it looks like we're getting a triple threat. Did you want to talk about
Pete
that?
Dunne, yay!
I think that match will be cool.
That'd be cool.
It's good for all three of them to get on the card and do something.
Pete Dunne came out, and so he's full heel boy now after last week.
He is.
And then so Sheamus beat him up before then, but then he avoided a bro kick, so he did kind of get bitched out with the 10 beats of the Bowderin and whatever.
Yes.
But Dunn did get a dodge, and then Bronson took the bro kick. So Dunn kind of like...
That's true.
I feel like you do a triple threat, maybe at SummerSlam, then you build to a Sheamus Dunn match.
Yeah.
But I still have hopes for Pete Dunne. I'm glad they're just keeping him in doing things like...
Yes, he's visible.
I don't know
still.
how far along this will go with him being prominent, but I'm glad they're doing things with him, and like...
Match should be fun.
Yeah, so I like this match. It's a good mix, and I hope Dunn comes out the other side, if not victorious, better off in some form or fashion.
Me too. Dominic in ring tells Liv that he hates her and that she's ruined his life. Liv's obviously upset and kind of crying.
I thought she sold it pretty well.
Yeah, she did. And Rhea licks Dom's face, which is the first real contact I think they've made, people were pointing out. So I feel like...
I just like that out of context.
At SummerSlam, my prediction, I'll give it now, whatever. We'll make these predictions officially later. But I think Dom intentionally or unintentionally cost Rhea the title. And that this continues a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, or like you get some sort of Balor involvement.
Because it's not dragging. I don't feel like they need to rush to finish it. We can keep going, and Rhea can keep chasing, which is, if she's a babyface, which I think she is, right?
Yeah.
That's the route to go.
Yeah. It's weird.
So everyone's doing a good job in this, and this storyline was still interesting. The only other thing I made note of is Vega has a new arm brace because she got stomped by Baszler last week, I think. So anyways, she used it to defeat Zoe Stark when she sort of realized, I can use this thing as a weapon. So she did.
Bob Orton style.
So they're using Vega a lot more to wrestle lately, which I think is an interesting choice because I wouldn't say that's her strength. But
it isn't, but like she's been a wrestler for a while now, so it's like I guess that's a thing you do.
I will say I was pleasantly surprised. I just assumed this was another numbers game. DeVille's group wins because they're being established as whatever they're being established as. So Vega
something where Baszler doesn't win.
And I don't even remember what the main event of Raw was, but I watched it.
Uso and Zayn beat
the
tag champions.
It was random babyface team, super team beats tag champs. Yeah, so I kind of blocked that out.
JD McDonough had cool ring gear.
Right. Okay, so shifting to NXT then. I don't think, maybe you watched a little bit. Starts out with
I
Trick.
saw the one thing with Trick after his match.
Trick comes to the ring, tells us he still wants to go after Paige. Cedric comes out. They had a brief interaction backstage on his way to the ring, I think it was, where Cedric is like giving him advice and saying like, you basically shouldn't go after Paige.
Was that where it was, where he gave him advice he wanted advice and then he wanted advice from Dunn and he didn't give it to him, or was that a different segment?
That was different.
Okay.
So this is in ring, and then Adonis comes out, and he's basically playing it like, see, I told you, Cedric, I knew Trick wouldn't listen when you say he should relax.
Was the Dunn thing where, remember, he told
Dunn
told him
week.
to figure it out? What was that for, though?
Oh, that was later this week, I think. I think it's coming up.
No, because remember Dunn attacks him later this week, but like, what? Remember Dunn he was featured the other week, and he told Trick to figure it out. What
and
was
he told
Trick
him to
asking
figure it out
him for?
again. He was...
Remember? Because he was on phone with someone.
with Dragunov.
What was that for?
And Dragunov's like, I can't help you now.
Who do you have a match against? Remember? Was that...
I can't remember.
Was that when he was looking for a tag partner, and then there was the Joe Hendry match?
Maybe.
I think.
That makes sense.
Right?
That sounds right. So Adonis is kind of like, I knew Trick wouldn't listen. Cedric seems to be caught in the middle between Trick and Adonis here.
Yeah, Adonis definitely seems to be like healing it up.
Yes, more.
We saw him flirting last week, right?
Adonis says Trick is the worst wrestler of the three. Maybe.
I mean, Adonis just has to prove himself, and then...
So Trick ends up sending Adonis out of the ring. Trick and Cedric face off. Looks like we'll get them facing each other later. So it feels really sudden. Like they're trying to act like almost like we're supposed to know Cedric and Adonis have some relationship with Trick. Like, how do they know him so well that they can just offer him advice backstage and stuff?
I don't think they do.
Like, so that kind of felt weird to me.
Also, I wonder how many people know that Adonis and Alexander are a team, because
I wouldn't have.
They just randomly got paired in vignettes on SmackDown, and then like they might have wrestled a couple times, but as far as I know, they really haven't been featured. Yeah,
so I don't know. It gives Trick something to do for a while, and Adonis's point of view is that they're there to pick up the ball that Trick dropped. So I guess that's simple enough story, but I don't know.
And they're all black, so
that's what I was wondering. That's how they know each other, because black and WWE. So they just naturally have rapport and can give each other advice.
Just saying.
In a previous era, I would say for sure. I'm hoping less so now.
I would agree.
Briggs and Jensen had a pretty good but short 11-minute no DQ match.
I think I saw some nasty welts on Briggs.
Oh my God. There was some really good intensity to this. And it looks like Spears and Jensen are formally aligned because...
Jensen's, the finish was lame, though. The DDT or whatever it didn't look very good.
It was on a chair. So, of course, he used a chair to finish with the Spears chairman there approving of all of that, obviously. Jensen needed the win. Obviously, he's ascending at this point, and things seem to have stalled with Briggs a little bit. So
has he now killed two somewhat promising people on NXT? Like,
kinda,
I guess.
So early chokeslam to Jensen through the announce table. Commentary looked funny because they were sitting there with no table for the rest of the match. Just like sitting in chairs. We had a running shotgun drop kick off the steps into Briggs inside a garbage can that looked good. Jensen absolutely wore out Briggs with a kendo stick, and like you said, his back was just welts everywhere.
I saw the clip of the finish, which is why I didn't think the DDT looked very good, but the welts on Briggs were very noticeable.
Briggs hit a nice back suplex to Jensen onto the steps, and then Spears gets on the apron as Briggs is holding a chair. Jensen ends up using the chair on Briggs repeatedly, DDT on the chair for the win. So I think it looks like Spears and Jensen are aligned kind of thing, and that he's guiding him. He's basically Jericho, but not comedy. I think is what Spears is.
Offensive.
Yeah. Rascals and Axiom and Fraser set up a 6-man tag for later in the show. Yes, please. Axiom then tells Fraser he's in the speed tournament, and Fraser overreacts now that the shoe's on the other foot, right? So it's kind of like, man, I was telling you to focus forever, and you were doing stuff, so now I got something to do. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it moves that story along and sets up a really good match for TV. A bunch of the women's roster talk about tag team wrestling. It's my best note there. Lash and Jakara Jackson will take on Petrovic and Sol Ruka later. And the faces to start this, we're watching Stephanie Vaquer highlights and praising her. We get the match, the feud to end all feuds. It's rock and roll versus electronic dance music. Lexis King, Eddie Thorpe are going to finally settle their just bitter
They need
feud.
to do the... whatever the Symphony of Destruction match is, what it is, the musical instrument street fight.
They might lead to that. Who knows? I thought Thorpe looked faster, better than usual. Like he was linking stuff together a little better. But King is so basic. He is fun to root against, right? But there's just nothing going on in the ring. He's just basic and boring.
He's just an easy douche, you know?
He is, but he just can't wrestle, so it sucks.
Yeah.
Surprisingly short, Thorpe won when he countered the coronation into an impaler after only like 3 minutes in this. King attacks Thorpe after the match, smashes his wrist in the ring steps with the scepter, so I guess that means we're not done here.
It's either...
You can't put King in Underground.
It's either Symphony Destruction match or it's going to be Underground.
It can't be Underground.
They put Natalya in there.
She can do moves at least. Like we say, she's bad, but she knows how to. She can do a wrestling move.
I guarantee.
King cannot.
It's one or the other, so I guarantee it.
Here you go. Pete Dunne lurks in the locker room again and tells Trick to figure it out.
That's my boy.
That is. And so I texted you. I read somewhere that he's now producing matches.
Well, I think that
might explain why he's in NXT.
That would be true. And also, I remember before, like in pre-pandemic NXT UK, I think, or like pre-pandemic / beginning of pandemic NXT UK. Remember, he took kind of a sabbatical and he was like kind of playing a not an authority figure, but like kind of like that. And he was like doing non-wrestling stuff in NXT UK. And then remember, he came back to wrestle. I think it was him and Dragunov against Walter and Alexander Wolf.
He's got a good wrestling mind.
Then he was gone for a while, and then he turned up in NXT main and joined Pat McAfee.
Right.
So I do remember on commentary Pat McAfee made reference to that, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I think he does have a bit of a history of producing matches and whatnot, so that's kind of cool.
What else we got here? Oro Mensah took on Ashante the Adonis, and I was kind of interested to see how it goes. I haven't seen a lot of Ashanti before.
I think the last time I saw him wrestle actually was probably with Hit Row.
And part of this was that Adonis is interested in Jakara Jackson and Mensah's defending her honor or whatever. I don't know. Mensah gets drop kicked to the floor as he goes for a springboard and he landed pretty hard. Adonis looks aggressive, dominates a good portion until he turns his attention to Jackson at ringside, is distracted by her beauty, I guess. Ashanti hits a hidden blade, ? I didn't think you would appreciate that too much. Cool flurry for Mensah off of another Adonis lapse in focus. Awesome running, spinning heel kick from Mensah for the win in 5 minutes. Clearly, he gets the win here. He's in a program with the champion. You're not really going to have him lose to somebody that just showed up.
Do we want him in a program with the champion? No.
For a 5-minute match, pretty fun. Allowed both guys to showcase a little bit. Mensah got on the mic, tried to get the crowd to chant 1, 2, 3 to taunt Paige, but they wouldn't do it, so it's kind of lame. No quarter catch crew family murder cover-up update here. There's a
debate about that. That'd be horrible.
There's a ransom letter, and they're like, Ren sent it. And I'm like, to who? For what?
She's at what? But
is this part of the cover-up? They're going to be like, oh, he was taken hostage by somebody. He's not dead?
I don't know.
Anyways, she's funny, actually. Dempsey wants her dealt with, and Tony tells him to give her what she wants, but they can't do that for some reason. So I don't know.
Doesn't she just want to be in the group? And that's
yes.
Yeah.
So she has a match later. She tells them that she'd better not lose. She's kind of like, I got a match later, and I better not lose because who knows what I might do or say if I lose, right? Basically telling them. So I kind of like that.
Her condition for joining should be to chop off the other half of her pants.
I don't know if she wears those
I don't
anymore.
think she does anymore. I just wanted to say that.
This is by far the best thing she's done to this point. She's standing out in these ridiculous segments.
She is decently experienced, too, from NWA. So.
But then again, I'm like, is the story basically that we can't kill her because she's a woman, but we can't let her in our group because she's a woman? Like, that's what it feels like.
We also can't.
That's not great.
They also don't want... no, because they already have killed her. If anything, shouldn't they want a woman in their group if they're feuding with Tony D?
We'll murder people, but not a woman.
Don't they want... And I think we said this before, but I think it's sexist to not murder her.
Right. And 2024,
also,
you gotta murder
I'm saying,
her.
if they're feuding with Tony D still, which it seems like they kind of are, right?
They're involved somehow.
Like, wouldn't you want someone to fight Rizzo?
Right. Maybe that's what I mean.
Like, is that not logical?
Banger. We get Ren Sinclair taking on Carly Bright with Kendall Gray of the Bright Gray.
Bright Gray.
Yeah. Sinclair almost loses a couple times. No quarter catch crew are at ringside and they're stressed.
Miles Bourne, it looked kind of lame.
I thought it was crazy.
Well, it looked okay, but like Bourne just kind of bounced up like he just got rolled. You know what I mean? That's what I didn't like.
Sinclair is starting out with some submissions and holds. I think kind of trying to impress No Quarter Catch Crew because that's their style, right? Dempsey puts Sinclair's foot on the ropes. Gray sees it. She confronts him, and hits a belly-to-belly overhead. So a big man.
It didn't look bad. It was just, I thought shocked. It was where the Bourne didn't not that he didn't sell, but he just kind of took it just he kind of you know what I mean? He didn't really stay down from
WWE, I expect her to slap him or something, not belly to belly overhead. So I thought that was cool. Bright gets a few more near falls, so Dempsey ends up helping Sinclair with the roll up, kind of adding more pressure. So Sinclair wins after 3 minutes. Dempsey looks annoyed about having to help her. His facial expressions are really good, and there could be something here with Sinclair in this group and they don't want her there. But she has leverage to stay in. And I thought Bright was totally fine in her role as the fiery babyface in this match. She got some offense in. Ridge Holland made some new T-shirts for Chase U.
Is that why I got a WWE shop ad?
I guess so. Thea's wearing one in her interview with Kelly. Kelly talks about how much Ridge has done to get her a title match. And Hale says Ridge isn't perfect, but she's let him in and the rest of Chase U have let him in, and she's focused on winning. And this was her being more calm and serious, and I thought she did a pretty good job. But the stuff about Holland seems deliberately overstated. I feel she's splintering off from this group with Holland at some point, right? Because she's going out of her way to he's so great, and I don't know. There's something
love
going
angle
on
with
there.
Holland instead of Osborne.
Weird. No thanks. Trick Williams took on Cedric Alexander. Sorry, I told you he looks way bigger, but this was a little bit clunky, I thought. He did hit a sudden Michinoku driver to Williams that looked good. And then it was a sudden Trick shot, wins it after about 10 minutes. Cedric and Trick shake hands. Pete Dunne attacks Trick from behind, stomps to the head, leaves Trick lying. Match was okay.
Long live the Bruiserweight.
It's starting to seem like there's a ceiling on Trick matches, and it's not that high. But
it's
he could still improve, right?
That's why Dunne's appearance here scares me. Because I love the guy, and I think he deserves to be on top. But I don't have full confidence that they will put him over Trick.
I agree.
I have very much certainty that they will use him for Trick, which I think is stupid because clearly Trick's not very capable of much right now. So I think that's just feeding Dunne lamb to the slaughter while he's doing something on Raw right now. If they're using Dunne as fodder, it's the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't know if they are. It seems like it.
I wouldn't trust them right now.
I was not super impressed with Alexander, but again, I know he's awesome, so maybe that's Trick as well, right?
I think that could be part of it, just to give Cedric the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Stevie Turner, Robert Stone, still hating everything they do. Ethan Page is talking to them.
I also hated it.
I have no idea what's going on. They awkwardly talk about Ora Mensa. This is stupid. Jack was here for his thoughts.
Yeah, I hated them too. It was so childish. It's so bad.
So bad.
So dumb.
Lonnie is creeped out by Paxley's social media posts. Adonis fakes an injury to get the women to help him walk backstage. We get Ruka Petrovic taking on Legend and Jakara Jackson. I thought Petrovic and Ruka actually worked pretty well together. They had some double team stuff. Too bad there's not really a women's division. They could get experience doing that for a while if they're
happy birthday to me.
If they're not ready to pull the trigger. That's right. Happy birthday. It's officially your birthday.
It's not beer.
Lash got a nice boot to a leaping Ruka's midsection that looked good. Ruka hit a moonsault to Jackson on the floor. Lash had a nice punch to Petrovic before whatever Lash's finisher is for the win in 5 minutes. Lash gets on the mic.
Oh, yeah, her finisher was interesting. You showed me.
She challenges Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the tag titles at Great American Bash.
Is Great American Bash 2 week? Yeah.
Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it is. So my question is, what exactly does Jakara Jackson do? I don't know if she does wrestling moves or not.
She wrestles sometimes.
I'm not sure I've seen her do anything, but anyways, she took part in this. Joe Hendry video. It's about how hot he is right now, how hard he worked to get there, how he's always loved wrestling. His theme's a mainstream success overseas, apparently. He's going to give us a live performance next week, and then Coffee shows up and challenges him for next week as well. So lots of Joe Hendry, which is good for him. Strike while the iron's hot, Joe Hendry. We have pictures with him, I forgot.
Do we?
He was one of the ones the second time we went to Impact, and our friend
when he was still doing the stuff with Grado, right?
Struck us into the VIP. We have pictures with Joe Hendry.
I'd have to see that again, because I completely forgot about that.
Ethan Page is obsessed with the visual pin that Mensa got on him, which I think is not my favorite thing. He gets a referee to agree with his side, takes him to the ring to address it. Mensa sneaks in and pins him again, and the ref counts it, and I don't like it.
I saw it too. The roll-up didn't even look that good.
I don't know why he cares. Like, it's not a match.
I guess because he's egotistical and like
guess,
it hurts his. I'd say that's fair, but I just don't know why they're doing it.
It's not my favorite.
I don't care why. I don't know why they're doing it. I think
don't
it's
either.
dumb.
I don't like it.
Makes them look dumb.
Tavian Heights will face Tony D for the Heritage Cup next week, and again, he looked impressive at Slammiversary, so I'm kind of interested.
He's also
to
the
see
one
what he
going
does.
off to Japan, right?
Yeah, that's right. Could be
Noah?
a write-off then,
For
right?
Noah?
I guess Tony D writes him off,
Kills
him.
Not kills him.
Oh my
but
god!
like,
Just kidnap, abduct him for a little
the
bit.
fact that that's a genuine possibility in this, it's just
It is a
ridiculous.
possibility.
Like,
The main event
say it
was
unironically.
pretty awesome. I would recommend people check it out. It's Axiom, Nathan Fraser, and Javon Evans taking on the Rascals. So like
Super speed match.
and you couldn't take notes on this if you wanted to. It was crazy fast action. I put, and it's not an insult, as close to an indie-rific match as you'll get in WWE, right? Which is fun for me.
Which is that is like old NXT.
One spot I hated because I don't like the move, and this was Infinite version. Wentz did like Infinite Bronco Busters to Evans that I thought was terrible.
That moves, nah.
Axiom and Fraser hit their finishing combination, but Rascals break it up. The crowd's on fire for this.
Is that combination is that the Spanish Fly Phoenix Splash, or is
No.
that the superplex thing and then the super kick chasing the dragon thingy?
Don't remember.
Is it one? It's one of those two, right?
It is. I feel like it's is it the Spanish Fly one, maybe?
I think it's the Spanish Fly one, but
think
they
it
also do the
wasn't
superplex and then
specific.
the chasing
They
the
do.
dragon, right? So
Which I also like.
that's what they won with, wasn't it? At
Yes.
Heatwave? Was that in the Golden Ratio?
Pretty sure.
So I don't know.
Hot fire flame to Axiom. Lee dives to the floor, so the camera misses the pinfall.
Is
but
that
it happened.
that's that double foot stomp thing?
The hot fire flame is the pushing.
Oh, okay. They
moonsault
did
thing.
because they did the double foot stomp, the Birmingham hammer before.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's what
this
that's
is the
called.
pushing moonsault.
I don't think that's a good finisher. Like, I mean, I know they did a move before the
looks
hot fire
cool.
flame, but it does look cool. But MSK never used it as a finisher.
No,
you know what I
it
mean?
was
I don't
just signature.
think it is. Yeah.
Rascals win after 15 minutes. Excellent trios match. Everybody got to showcase themselves. Evans had a couple of blips, but he showed yet again he can hold his own with these
Evans
guys.
is really cool.
This was a way for the reunited Rascals to get a big win and a way for Axiom and Fraser to take a loss but not lose their titles. So I'm guessing we're going to get MSK Axiom Fraser title match, and that's awesome.
That would be sweet.
Maybe at Great American Bash one of the nights, I would assume. And if you like fast-paced, high-octane stuff, this would be a match I would say to check out. And Paige and Mensa will face off at Great American Bash next week. Week 2 for the title. So yes, for sure 2 weeks. Because a segment with Ava ended the show. Last couple things, a couple quick notes from TNA, like 4 or 5 things. Mustafa Ali is the next opponent for Nemeth, like that. He's been upgraded, right, from X Division. However,
He's not winning.
so Nemeth is doing the annoying, like, I'll fight anyone, anytime, any place, blah, blah, blah. So Ali comes out.
Bland.
My only concern is they scheduled that match for TV next week, which feels far too soon. So I don't think that'll be official.
It's not.
Right?
That doesn't. Oh wait, like.
Shenanigans that'll push the match
maybe.
to...
I thought you were concerned like it'll just be like Ollie's kind of one and done.
That's what I don't want. Because I feel like
I'd be-
he's big enough that he won't be.
I'd be concerned for that. Just
Think
because like
so?
you could easily boot him down in the X division.
I don't...
And like just say like, because he was a notable champion, he's just like he's notable enough to get a
But
one
I think
shot.
he's doing good work. And
One
who
shot.
else? What other heels they got lined up?
That's true. I mean, you could build up Alexander easily, but I guess
You could.
Well,
and
no,
that
he has
probably
to,
is that.
he has to feud with Hendry. Though,
Correct.
Actually,
That's what's happening there. So everybody seems to be slotted. So I feel like
that's true.
that match will not be the
Maybe.
match next week.
Maybe.
The Rosemary segment I mentioned was terrible. The writing, the acting, all of it's brutal. There's like a cork board with strings and pins, the whole thing, and she has a knife and she's cutting it all down, talking about she has nothing, almost like she's setting up for another character change. Cool. And you see like images of Father James Mitchell and blah, like just...
I mean,
I guess there's a segment of their fan base that likes this stuff, but that ain't me. That's for sure. Sammy Callahan he's doing like Death Machine TV segments, and he even has like a weather reporter character he plays. So I respect them because TNA tries weird stuff, but I don't really think this is working.
you always respect the effort, but it's not always like
always
it doesn't always pay
deliver.
off. Yeah.
And the bottom line is this is putting him in an angle with AJ Francis, so that's kind of death, right?
that is kind of tough.
They did have a match. AJ Francis won, and the crowd was so dead for Top Dollar. He is just basic and plodding, and he
not
never
good.
gets any momentum.
He's
and
not
it's
good.
No, it's terrible. Alexander comes out to offer an explanation for his heel turn. Gets really good heat from the crowd. So he just basically puts the mic down and leaves. Didn't say anything.
I saw the Impact video. It said that that he didn't offer an explanation.
No, he did not. So I'm okay with that. Let it marinate a little bit, and then hopefully they have a good reason for it. Main event was they went back to a classic TNA multi-man tag. So it was System and JDC versus ABC and Broken Matt Hardy. So the faces won with a twist of fate and a base splash. So like good action, but again, unimportant, just cobbled together. Like, hey, you guys are in storylines, so we'll put you together. But
this feels like something they would have done before the pay-per-view. Yes. You know what I mean? That's the weird part.
So, I don't know. I feel like TNA is on the cusp of being pretty interesting. With momentum they're getting, the NXT stuff isn't hurting them, right? So, the show was okay. But anyways, we don't have anything from SmackDown because it just happened, right? All right, so you said you do have some stuff from the world of wrestling figures. That'll be our final segment. We like to call that Figuring It Out with Jack. All right, go ahead. Get this party started. It's after midnight. I need to go to bed.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff we've already seen, so I'll like skip some of the ones that we don't need. But they have the Ultimate Dusty Rhodes Legends one, which they had like one of those color renders for last time, but it's polka dot Dusty with like the birthmark looks realer this time because he's got the polka dot shirt, a few different heads. He's got like a cop hat and a little baton for some reason. That's probably something. I don't know. Next Ultimate is
must be
2002 Hulk Steel Rules Hogan. Like the one he had the black beard, but he was doing the red and yellow again. He's got the undisputed title. You know the nostalgia run Hogan.
Yep.
Classic. New AEW figure was we got Black Machismo.
Yep.
Jay Lethal, so that's kind of cool. He's got like cloth goods and whatever. So that actually does look pretty cool. And I don't think Lethal has a figure, so that is kind of neat. Then we got Mr. Ultimate Monday Wars Lex Luger.
Awesome.
Nice. And I think he's got interchangeable hair with like the mullet gear and then like the ponytail. So you can change the hair. And then there's like a screaming head, a few different heads. And then he's got, I think, both versions of the WCW title. There's an NWO one and then the plain WCW title. And I was showing you with one of the Rick Rude Elites later.
Yep.
They got the new tooled big gold where it's like got a more defined ridge and it's got like, because the WWE version of the big gold has the scratch logo at the top, and then the WCW one is like that swirl.
Yep.
So they have actually made a distinct WCW belt, so that's kind of neat. Then there's Monday Night Wars Triple H Ultimate, which has like the cloth track pants and new torso frame, which is decent. I guess I could be showing you this, so I have
that's
my phone and computer. That we've seen. Okay, then they've got a gray prototype for Great Muta. I'll show you the renders later because there's a chase and a normal, but that one's like pretty basic. Then this one I love is Mountain Dew Bray Wyatt in the glow in the dark paint. That looks awesome. I'm gonna get it. R.I.P. How dare you? We got WrestleMania 39 Rey Mysterio and like the weird mask he wore in the Dom match. I don't like that look personally. Ultimate LA Knight as well. That one's okay. It's pretty basic. It's got the Ultimates are the ones with like, they have a million different things.
Yeah.
Jailbreak Dom or Ultimate with like from the Ray match.
That's funny.
He's got the Ray mask and everything. That's nice. John Cena re-release from Greatest Hits Elites. That's fine. Also re-release on an Natalia Elite, and there's two versions.
Hooray!
I don't want it. King Sheamus. That's an old Elite. I think they're releasing. I want to say it was like a really early Elite. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyways, that's fine. Carlito. There's two versions. He looks like Mexican Bob Ross, but it looks pretty good. Like it. I don't know. I don't need it, but it looks decent.
It's all right.
Trick Williams. I showed you this. I think the Trick Williams looks really good. Just for like him, I think it's in this nice white gear. I think when he won the North American title, because it comes with that. But I think like this head scan spot on. Dragon Lee, I think looks pretty solid. Elite.
Yeah, looks good.
Something Barbie, Tiffany Stratton, I think looks pretty good. The face looks a little weird to me, but I think generally the gear looks pretty good. I do think the face is like a little weird.
It looks more like
Izzy Dame.
Yeah. Or
Elite Punk. It's the Macho Man Punk, which is fine, I guess. Nice. Legends. Kurt Angle, that's nice. It's an 01, or it's a hair angle, so I guess it'll look weird. Legends Elite, there's Pink Bret Hart from I want to say Mania 9, which is the one where he lost to Yoko and then Hogan beat Yoko. Mm-hmm. So it's that one, the all pink. And then I showed you the Rick Rude, which is nice. There's one with the US title pants, which I think is funny because it comes with the world title. And then there's a chase, and then I want to show you this Justin Hawk Bradshaw.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a crazy pull. And I showed you the Pink Rollins, right?
Yep.
They got WrestleMania Elite, which is Belair from 39, which is the match with Asuka. Rollins from 39, which is the match with Logan Paul, which would go with the Logan Paul I have. Hart Foundation Bret Hart, and then WrestleMania 30 Hulk Hogan in like old man promo gear. Build-A-Figure Howard Finkel, so that's kind of cool.
Fink. Represent.
Royal Rumble Elites, we got 2002 Hurricane. Remember when he tried to chokeslam Austin and Triple H? That. Hulk Hogan from any time he
Hooray.
was old, like younger, I don't know. Rumble 23 Cody, which I actually really do like the gear on that one. I really
cool.
like that gear. Diesel from 2011 when he returned, and Build-A-Figure, I told you, Great Khali.
Hooray.
First Elite, and you get to buy 4 figures to get a Khali. So that's great. This is what I don't like about the pay-per-views now is like the Build-A-Figures are cool, but because I almost never want the whole wave, it's like I got that Shawn Michaels and Kevin Owens Remember at last Comic-Con from Survivor Series wave, so I have 2 parts of a British Bulldog figure now. I have his arms and his head. Like
perfect.
ECW Dudley Boys 2-pack, which I think you'd find cool.
That is cool.
It's like classic Dudley Boys. Headbangers, which is also your time, but maybe less.
I
cool
like
for
them
you.
more than I should have, probably.
I don't know. Imperium, I think this one, it's outdated obviously now, but I think it looks really cool.
That looks good.
I think that looks really nice. Elite Yoko, who looks like he's squatting over the potty or something.
Nice.
There's a red one too. There's a Chase. It doesn't matter. This is from the Vault series, which is these it's one of those re-release series they do, which is Straight Edge Society Bald Punk. That's cool, I guess. Mm-hmm. Which was like, that's a super rare figure people always want. Like, it's expensive, so that one's a good re-release, or I guess bad if you collect it. I don't know. That's one of the things with that.
Exactly. If you already have it.
It's just the updated articulation and everything, right? Hollywood Hogan.
Great. So many Hogans. I'm glad.
Oh, there's more. Shawn Michaels defining moments from the first Taker match, which I think looks pretty nice. It's that one where like he did like the anti-Taker entrance, you know, like the angelic, like that one. Then Hollywood Hogan, I already looked at that. Samoan Dynasty 3-pack, it's Roman, his dad, RIP, and his uncle. And so you get like interchangeable heads, and you can take off their old man clothes to make them like young Wild Samoans, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So options, I guess. Then there's an Evolution 3-pack, which is from the exact moment when they turn on Orton, so that's kind of cool. And you get like the Triple H's cloth goods clothes, and then you do like this thumbs up, the thing. Jey Uso Elite.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Basics, I will not talk about to spare your time, because no one actually cares about basics, and if you do, we're not friends.
Wow.
Coliseum Ultimates, the new wave. I don't know if I can find it, so I probably won't show you. But it's Bam Bam. And
cool.
Boss Man. That is the other
Big
one.
boys.
New Monday Night Wars wave has Ultimate Warrior. You care to comment on this?
Boo.
Okay. There's Yellow Razor, Lita, Six, Attitude Era, Boss Man. Oh wait, there's ECW Bam Bam. Oh, some of these are greatest hits. Triple H, Eddie Guerrero with the mustache, Kurt Hennig, Shawn Michaels I have already, and then there's Ultimate Warrior somewhere. There's the wave. There's also the DDP I think I showed you. There's 2 DDPs.
Nice.
It's in jeans, though, so it's kind of mid. Now we're in AEW for a bit. There's Kenny Omega from Grand Slam, which I already saw. Adam Copeland's new figure. Bucks from the cage match. So those look pretty cool. I will get the Bucks. Pink Adam Cole, which I want. Kyle O'Reilly, which is new, which I will get. Julia Hart, no thank you. Black Orange Cassidy, which I feel like is... So some of their figures are really a date, because that Kenny Omega's from 2021, right? But if this is Black Orange Cassidy, did he not just wear that? Right? In the Trent match?
I think so.
That would be surprisingly recent. Austin Gunn, I think, looks pretty decent.
Nice.
I didn't know Colton, but he's coming too. They did show the Switchblade figure for the first time, which is the one I pre-ordered. So that's nice. Cutler looks okay. My boy Takeshita, his face looks a little weird screaming, but I will buy it anyways.
Does not look like him.
It looks weird, but I'm going to accept it. Goatee Dragunov render, so that's cool.
Cool.
Braun Breaker with the wolf head, but I'll show you the real figure image when I get to it. Zoe Stark's getting elite, so that's cool for her.
Nice, good for her.
Axiom, I think the gear on Axiom's pretty cool.
Nice.
Punk from the Rumble, no thank you. Brian Pillman from WCW, actually, you might want to see that. Flying Brian?
Yeah, I like Flying Brian.
What about his son?
Less. I like him less.
Okay, he's there too. Make a Difference Fatu is coming. Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu got at least coming. It's just great at render, so it doesn't matter. Ethan Page also coming. Final Boss Rock coming with the People's Belt he had from Mania. Priest with the Money in the Bank. Muda, there's a black one.
Yep.
And then red one, because I assume you would have seen him in WCW.
I did. He was cool.
Jade Cargill's coming. That's
Hooray.
cool. Elite.
She's still around, eh?
Yep, still kicking about. I think they're going to run a tag title rematch soon. We got not Attitude, Ruthless Aggression Carlito, so that's cooler. I guess, where are the actual runners? I should be waiting for those, because these are like... Okay, there's the actual... Okay, there's the wolf head Braun. There we go. That's what we want. There it is.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Gochi Dragunov, I already showed you. Zoe Stark. I did see, I think, the actual figure they showed later, and she has, like... you remember she had, like, the weird one-sleeve jacket?
Mm-hmm.
There's that. Final Boss Rock Elite with the vest and whatever, so that's neat, I guess, if you're that kind of person. R-Truth. Kairi Sane with her cool umbrella. Pillman, I showed you. Cargill. Lexus King. Axiom. There's a better look. I do like the Axiom.
That's
looks
cool.
Really cool.
Yep.
I will definitely cop the Axiom because, we like them NXT people. The Bloodline people I already showed you. Ethan Page, Logan Paul, we've already seen. Ultimate Solo with the kick pads, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Ultimate Valor, I like that gear actually with the white on top. That one's nice. Brock, we talked about. Priest, Muda, Ultimate Money in the Bank Punk from 2011.
Hooray.
Woo. The Coliseum Collection I showed you. Ultimate Cena from when he won the U.S. title, which we mentioned in our trivia segment.
Nice jorts.
Retro Bloodline, do not care about. Evolution talked about. Perk Angle or ECW Angle, 2006 Kurt Angle.
Okay.
Wrestling Machine Kurt Angle is what we'll call it. Godfather.
Nice.
Old Muda Elite. That's old man Muda right there.
That is.
Which is an odd choice because I don't think he ever showed up as old man Muda in WWE.
I don't remember.
So, anyways, Smoking Guns, Billy Gunn.
Nice.
It's too bad they can't do Bart Gunn though. Because that's
Brawl for All legend.
You need to do like an Elite 2-pack or Ultimate Edition 2-pack where it's Dr. Death, Steve Williams versus Bart Gunn from Brawl for All. Ruthless Aggression, DX, HBK, Legends Ultimate. So that's neat. Bulldog Ultimate, or not Bulldog. Yeah, Monday Night War Bulldog. Then WCW Booker T. Which you like? Nice. WCW TV title. There's a white one too if you like that better.
I do.
Okay. You want to know what the Build-A-Figure for this Monday Night Wars wave is? Golga from the Oddities.
Yeah, Golga.
That's crazy.
John Tenta. Rip.
Monday Night Wars Hardcore Hack.
Oh boy.
That's an odd one.
Sandman.
Yep. Kane. It's your average Kane. Triple H we already saw. Luger. Already hit him. New retros 4-pack. We got Sensational Sherry, Elizabeth, Zeus from the movie.
Great.
And then what would the last one be? If Zeus is there. Rip Thomas, baby.
I was gonna say Hulk Hogan.
Brother Love with a ring. There was also a ring with an Ultimate Ripley, but that we have passed that. And that is it. Is there anything else new? I think I hit it. There's some new basic 2-packs. They posted a Top Picks Elite Wave and said Jey Uso, but that is Jimmy. The picture is Jimmy. Then there's just some other waves. I would like to point out they do. So we have Elite Greatest Hits 6, which is re-releases, which is where you saw the Sheamus and the Natalia. But I want to point out Elite Greatest Hits 5 has Seth Rollins. And if it's not White Rollins this time, so help me God, I will throw something in a river.
It won't be.
Here's the real wolf head Braun if you want to see that. And then also, so they had packaging images for Elite 112, which I only want to mention because it's my boy JD McDonough.
There it is.
He's got interchangeable hair, not heads, just the hair. So you can do man bun or hair down. So we dig that. And then another Seth Rollins for me to get. There's a couple of Rollins coming, so we gotta love it. There's also I wasn't able to find it, but they have the Ultimate Rollins coming. It's that orange Elton John gear with the baggy pants I don't like, but I'm gonna get it anyways.
Of course.
Anywho, that is it. I think I did that pretty timely.
You did well. That's gonna bring us to the end of episode 210. I gotta get the bit of production I do done and get to bed and get up in like 5 hours.
I gotta sleep.
To get out of here.
I'm getting old.
But we do appreciate you checking in with us, listening to us talk about wrestling. For any amount you stayed around for this. We'll be back next week for sure for episode 211. Happy birthday to Jack, who is officially, because it's after midnight, 17 years old, so good job on that. We'll see you back here for episode 211, and until then, everybody, take care.